show with the three amigos. Hochman, Crowder, and Solana on FM radio. Them boys be sliding, so we riding and we ready to go. 100,000 watts full throttle, baby, ready to blow. We passing poker out to Jupiter, we got your attention. You can tune in anywhere, but listen at your discretion. To the legend, Mr. Hochman can't stop him, each of the deuce. My brother got his own hot burger at Tucker Deuce. Now my rush more of these sports, spitting the truth. It's Channing Crowder, greatest Dolphins, who rock the 52. Solana one best of Miami, the voice of FIU. We reppin' to Miami, the Heat and the Panthers too. We reppin' for the Marlins, the Dolphins, that's how we do. We reppin' for the Crips, so it's always about the you. Hey Jimmy, please get a pal on the phone and tell him that it's on. I finally got his name on the song. Can't do it wrong, cause it sounds so sweet. You spit the facts while I keep the crowd on their feet. Football season be the reason that I be bringing this heat. Georgia music representing 104.3. Hey, welcome to the show.
Man, there is so much going on in the world of sports. We have a lot to cover. We only have about 3 hours and 54 minutes remaining in the show. Hawk is still gallivanting in Europe. If you want to see him make a fool of himself and become the world's biggest Aperol Spritz whore, Radio Mark Hochman on Instagram. It's Channing Crowder, it's Solana, it's Jimmy, and Josh Appel is in with us today as well. I have a lot to get to, fellas, because the Marlins are streaking. Andrew Wiggins is back. LeBron going to the Warriors and joining maybe the greatest big four that would have been amazing 10 years ago, but now I don't really know what to make of them. Japan is leading Brazil at halftime in the round of 32, but all that needs to be halted here because Crowder was telling me right before we came on the air, after he berated me, called me ugly, said my shirt was raggedy, said I look homeless. Then he berated Jimmy for about 30 seconds, told him his hat is ridiculous and that he looks ridiculous in the hat. After all that was said, Crowder told me, Appel, he said, I fix soccer. I got it. I fix soccer. So I'm bringing everything to a pause here. Crowder, I'm giving you the floor. How have you fixed the beautiful game?
I've watched a lot of soccer because I'm sitting at home, and then once Chan, I'm in Bradenton right now at a Prospect Academy camp with Lil Chan with the baseball. And so every time we come back to the room, there's a soccer game on. And I'm watching soccer, and it gets to me as the dumb American that they don't head towards the goal. They kick the ball backwards. If you put a half court, what's it called in basketball? You can't kick the ball. Once the ball is over the half court line, you can't go back. If they put a half court rule in soccer, it would be way more attractive to Americans because they'll be up there by the 90-foot line, and then they kick it back and kick it back. They kick it to the damn goaltender way the back. Why are we kicking it to him? Go the other way. Go straight. If they put a half-court rule in soccer, it would be way more attractive.
I'm just glad he didn't try and eliminate offside or question offside. I'm glad you went a different route. Still kind of crazy. Not kind of.
No, it's not kind. No, it's not just. I'm trying to score north, and I kick the ball south 3 times. Keep going north. The whole goal is to get a goal. If it passes half court, they cannot kick it back towards the goalie. And I would be so much more happier with soccer.
Listeners, I'm sorry. Jimmy, just flip to network. Let's just call it a day.
Solana,
In fact, let's just call it a week.
Fun. That's fun. When somebody has the ball in the corner, kicks it back to a guy, that kicks it back to another guy, that kicks it back to the goalie, and then he brings his goofy ass out here and kicks it over to somebody else. It's a waste of time.
I'm not saying it's fun, but Crowder, you would acknowledge that much like in the NFL, at times, field positioning is important. And if you're backed up in your end zone, rather than risk a turnover in a dangerous spot, you'll actually punt the ball because you want to play the field positioning battle. And in soccer, it's very much like that. If a team that you're going up against, like Japan in this second half against Brazil, is just set up in the back and you haven't found any holes to be able to break through their defense, you'll play it backwards to try to push their team forward a little bit to open up more space. on their side of the field. It's very much like the NFL, where you have to be patient and you have to play strategically, because if not, you just turn the ball over and you leave yourself vulnerable to a counterattack. So no, you can't put a half court line or a
half court line in soccer. It'd be so much more interesting.
You can't have an over and back rule in soccer. It just wouldn't work. But I'm at the very least, Appel, I'm glad Crowder's engaged. I can tell. I think it has more to do with like a monetary thing. I think it has more to do with a monetary thing. The fact that he lost a lot of money on Uruguay.
I might have $1,000 on France to win it all. I might have. just to put it out there.
Not a bad bet, man. Not a bad bet at all.
Sometimes you just got to take the check down, Crowder. You just take the check down sometimes.
But check down goes towards the other team's goal. They're right by the goal, and then they kick it back 100 yards.
Need a reset.
No, we don't need a reset. We need to go towards the other team's goal. I'm just telling y'all, as an American non-soccer aficionado, what I would like soccer to be. It'd be more aggressive.
Today we got our first move post the Giannis trade, which technically isn't official, and free agency starts later this week, tomorrow at 6 p.m. So that'll be official. Tyler Hero over the weekend posted a picture on his alternate Instagram account that I got traded while on my way to Paris. So, he's already acknowledged that he will no longer be in Miami. Andrew Wiggins has opted into his contract, and he agreed to a 2-year extension as well. So he's going to make his $30.1 million this season, and he's going to make $16.5 million next year. No option, 27, 28. And then the following year, he'll make $17.5 million the 28-29 season. And that final season of his contract will include a player option. So let me just tell you guys what I immediately thought. One, I'm happy to have Wiggs back. I know that a lot of people were suggesting, Wiggs. Andrew Wiggins. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Will Weedo, you're going to draw the line at Wiggs.
Will Weedo's a little different.
I know there was a lot of people that were looking at Andrew Wiggins' contract, hoping he'd opt out and there'd be some more flexibility immediately if he were to come back. I realized that. There was also the opportunity for him to opt in and you sign and trade him elsewhere, maybe for LeBron, even though that's looking a little bit less likely today than when we last spoke on Thursday and Friday. But Bam Adebayo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Andrew Wiggins on a team-friendly deal after this year, the next 2 seasons, $17 million, $16 million for Andrew Wiggins, I think is a really, really solid move. And if you're looking at future flexibility, if you're looking at maybe this year, the Miami Heat don't go all in because of the cap restraints and because of where they're going to be limited in terms of ability to make some moves and maneuver their cap situation. That also becomes a very tradable contract down the line as well. So overall, I don't know how you feel about it, Crowder, but I think Wiggs is important to bring back right now. And that's kind of the first domino here as we enter free agency.
And I need your help with this, Solana. Will 15-5-2 go up now that he has, now he has Bam and Giannis in the front court? Because he was not impressive last year. I'll tell you that off bat.
Yeah, he wasn't. He hasn't been the 2024 or 2022 NBA Finals MVP, that caliber player that we saw. I'm losing track. What year are we in? But when he had that 2022 Finals run with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, he was the second best player on that team. Steph Curry won Finals MVP, but Wiggs, you could make a case that year, played well enough in the finals against Boston to actually be considered in that conversation. He hasn't been that guy. There's no denying it. But now he's your third. Maybe he's going to end up being your fourth best player defensively. I think, having Andrew Wiggins back, and now he doesn't have to be relied upon to score. And Crowder, on top of that, we're talking about how much space Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to create for a guy like Andrew Wiggins. To me, it's a bargain of a deal when you look past this year and that player option.
Yeah. No. I trust Pat. I trust Spo. I trust them to figure it out. But I have not been impressed with Andrew Wiggins as a Miami Heat player. And I hope that now this is where he can be more in his bag, where he can do what I've seen him with Golden State, where I can do what I've seen him in the past. That's all I'm asking.
I'm curious, though, like I'm assuming, I mean, you may have mentioned it there, but I'm assuming that this means Norman Powell's gone. So if you're trying to maximize the Giannis era, which who knows how long that's going to be, feel like you'd want a better third option than Andrew Wiggins. So where does that leave them as far as still adding to this group? Because they need shooters, obviously, but where does it lead them overall?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to need shooters. You're right. It doesn't look likely that Norman Powell's going to be back. That doesn't mean for sure that he won't be, but my guess is right now the Miami Heat, they're going to have limited space now to kind of go out and fill out their roster. Sign and trade with Norman Powell, to me, makes sense. You can put him somewhere else once this Giannis deal goes through. He can get paid, and maybe you can get some assets back, maybe kind of get some more flexibility in terms of cap space as well. Maybe you're sending out a Niko Jovic as part of that deal. There's still so much that can happen. There's a lot of names that have been talked about, whether it's been Barry Jackson, whether it's been some of the main national reporters. So we're going to get to all that. In fact, Wes Goldberg from Locked On Heat, he's going to join us in the next segment. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what this means in terms of Andrew Wiggins and what it means for the Miami Heat moving forward. Because you're right, Appel, it doesn't seem likely that you want Wiggs to be your third option, period. But if you think of Giannis Antetokounmpo as your point forward, right? You just think of him as the guy who's going to have the ball in his hands. You just want to surround him with shooters. And in the front court, I mean, name me a better front court right now in the NBA. I'm sure there are candidates.
There's not.
But Bam, Giannis, and Andrew Wiggins as your 3, 4, and 5 is as good as it gets defensively in the NBA. We're also going to talk with Jack McMullen, the Marlins radio voice. He's going to join us in the 3 o'clock hour. The Fish, man. The Fish. How about the Fish, Appel? You're rocking your Marlins hat.
Best team in baseball in the month of June. A little 4-game series here with the Rockies. Pad that a little bit. They, let me check if they still were, but going into play yesterday, they were tied for a playoff spot. And this is without Liam Wicks. He's on the IL right now.
Crazy, man. Crazy. We might have a situation where the Miami Marlins are playing playoff baseball come late September. That's crazy, man.
Don't tease me with that.
That's
don't
crazy.
do that to me.
Right around the time Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to suit up for the Miami Heat. Right around the time the Hurricanes are preparing for a late November battle against Notre Dame. The Dolphins, of course, will be winless by then. But, I mean, whatever. And the Florida Panthers, of course, will have the 2 Kachuk brothers on the ice. I know, Appel, you haven't been on since that trade went down. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun up in Sunrise.
Can't wait. Now, I'm a little worried about what they're going to do in goal, but there was some other Panthers news that came out as well a few moments ago.
Yeah, I want to get to your take on whether it's going to be Hellebuck, what the Panthers should do on Bobrovsky. We'll do that a little bit later on in the show. Again, Crowder, Appel, Solana, Jimmy will take you up until 6 p.m. Wes Goldberg's going to join us in the next segment. Let's do quick headlines. They're going to be delivered by Josh Appel, who's filling in for me doing headlines today on the show.
All right, so we start, and I told the guys know where I'm going with the first headline here, but we got to go quick so we can expound upon this later on because it is huge news. Everybody knows the effect that Danhausen had on the New York Knicks and their run to the NBA Finals. They know what he did for the Carolina Hurricanes as well.
Do we?
Yes, he uncursed them, and
I don't know. I didn't know that.
They won the Stanley Cup. The folks over at Dolphins Talk gave Danhausen some human monies, and he subsequently uncursed Dan Marino for some reason and the Miami Dolphins. Now, interesting time to stake the effectiveness of your curses and uncurses in year one of a rebuild with a very thin roster and Jimmy playing receiver for the Dolphins. Right. But nonetheless, Danhausen has uncursed the Miami Dolphins.
So the curse of the Tequesta, right? The curse of the Tequesta, he has lifted said curse.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Bingo. All right,
Jimbo,
we'll get to more on that later.
Slot. Jimbo, you in the slot?
You know it.
Curses,
I'll be wide open.
Yeah, you self-check. They're not going to cover you. Curses and luck and all that stuff means nothing in football.
I don't know about that.
It doesn't mean anything.
I don't know about that, Crowder. Yeah.
How do you what?
How else would you explain the Dolphins not winning a playoff game for 25 years and not winning a Super Bowl since they moved to Joe Robbie Stadium? How else would you explain
Because they haven't had good rosters, good GMs, good head coaches, good quarterbacking since Dan Marino. That's what it is. It's about the roster and it's about coaching. It's not about anything about god darn luck.
I would agree with you. 2005 to 2011 didn't have a good roster, but
especially at middle linebacker.
Man, we had a hell of a middle linebacker, J.A.
All right, we'll get to Danhausen. Maybe we'll play that sound coming up later. That was cool by Dolphins Talk, by the way. I love that. What else you got, Appel?
World Cup knockout stage games, they're underway. Last night we saw a dramatic stoppage time winner that propelled Canada past South Africa. Not the best of matches, but an exciting finish there. The match we're watching now during the show, Brazil and Japan. Japan had a 1-0 lead at the half. Shocking scoreline there. But Brazil, after a couple of balls that were cleared off the line, one big save and the one that was just cleared off the line, they have tied Japan 1-1. They are in the 60th minute of the round of 32 match. Germany, Paraguay at 4:30, Netherlands, Morocco at 9 o'clock, and the U.S. will play their round of 32 match against Bosnia on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, man, I'm jacked up for that. By the way, Brazil equalized. Casemiro scored. He's the newest member of Inter Miami. Once the World Cup is done, the reports are that he's actually coming to Inter Miami to join Leo Messi, Luis Suarez, and the rest of that team. So pretty cool to watch one of our own score a big-time goal. Your headlines, by the way, are sponsored by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or at DoralVolkswagen.com. You got weather, Appel?
I do have weather. It's June. It's hot. It's humid and muggy. Temperatures in the mid-90s. It is brutal out there. But that weather report, not brutal, brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, helping homeowners stay safe this storm season. Visit tornadoroofing.com for a free roof and window estimate.
Backcourt rule.
No backcourt rule.
Backcourt
no over
rule
back.
would make soccer so much more interesting.
No backcourt rule. No. We're not adding the backcourt rule.
He's got his men up here and we're kicking it backwards towards our goal. I don't want it. Backcourt rule.
Appel's idea of eliminating the offsides rule, I'm more in favor of that because the way Colombia got hosed.
I'm not in favor of that. I'm not
actually in favor of that, but the way Colombia got hosed here at Hard Rock Stadium against Portugal is ridiculous. We'll get to that later. Coming up on the other side, we're going to talk some Miami Heat, Andrew Wiggins, his extension, plus opting into that contract, where LeBron James is likely to go to, what this Heat roster could look like come this time next week when the free agency period officially opens. It's Crowder, it's Appel, it's Jimmy, it's Solana. It's the Hochman, Crowder, and Solana show. We take you up until 6 p.m.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana show.
Who would be interested in Abuela Danger?
Coming
Hochman, Crowder, and Solana show rolls on. Hawk is in Europe. He'll be back next week. He's missing all the fun, man, because last week on Monday, we had Wes Goldberg on. He hosts Locked On Heat podcast. He's basically everywhere right now, and I recommend you follow Wes on social media. But we were talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and if the vibes were good for him to actually end up here in Miami. And about, 12 hours after we had Wes on, we get the news. Giannis is here. I want to get your reaction to that, Wes, because I believe I was on Twitter scrolling that night. What was it? Last Monday at like 11:30-ish when we get the Shams bomb. And I'm looking for your reaction. It was a late Shams bomb. So I finally saw your reaction early Tuesday morning. I want to know, A, were you asleep? And B, what that initial reaction was like when you find out the Miami Heat and Pat Riley beat out the Boston Celtics.
Okay, so I'm going to break some news to you here because this is something I had not talked about on Locked On Heat, although I was accused of falling asleep because I did not have that instant reaction. I did. I fell asleep. I fell asleep about 25 minutes before the news broke is my guess. I had my phone on loud. I fell asleep on the couch waiting for the Giannis bomb to fall, and I woke up about 3:30 in the morning, seeing everything. Phone calls from my co-host David Ramil, like we got to record and all these things, and we recorded early the next day. But yeah, I fell asleep. But what crazy news to wake up to!
Yeah,
It's funny because I texted Solana right after it happened, and it's like after midnight. Can we just wait till 8 a.m. the next morning? Like, what is the rush?
Agreed.
You let everybody go to sleep and then wake up. It's absurd.
As a new dad, I just like it just kicked in. I have a 10-month-old, and I was like, you just pass out at random times now. Yep. That's just what happens. Yep.
What does it look like, Wes? What does this look like? Because we have two very good bigs. But like, how does that work together? What is it? The stretch? How do the movement and all that stuff? And it's something that we have to figure out, or something Spo has to figure out.
It's something that Spo has to figure out. You are 100% right, and I'm excited about it. This is physically the greatest tool that Spo has had since LeBron James in 2014, right? Everything that Jimmy Butler was a great player here, but physically he was just different. Like he wasn't like this crazy physical, high-flying specimen the way that LeBron was back then, and Giannis is capable of doing now. And so I'm really intrigued to see what Spo draws up, the kind of offense, the kind of defenses that he could put together. Of everybody who is excited about this, all of us here on this show, every Heat fan, I don't think anybody is more excited than Eric Spoelstra, who just has not had an elite talent like this to use. And even when he did, he was so early in his coaching career when he had D-Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh. We saw the way that he used those guys and frankly revolutionized NBA offense with that pace and space group at the time, kind of gave way to what the Golden State Warriors were doing, what eventually the Houston Rockets are doing, and what we see now in the league. To see this Spo, as seasoned as he is and seeing as much as he's seen in the league, now get a chance to kind of do it all over again with this kind of talent, I think is really exciting.
Wes Goldberg, he joins us on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. By the way, I should mention, you also host Locked On NBA Daily as well, which I've been listening to and tuned in, and I highly recommend it because right now, Wes, like there's just so much going on. I mean, before 11 a.m. today, we had a player indicted on federal charges. We had crazy trades across the NBA. We have a potential LeBron Anthony Davis reunion with Steph Curry. Before I get to any of that, though, Andrew Wiggins, he opts in and he gets the contract extension with the Miami Heat for 2 more seasons after this one. What'd you think of the deal overall for Andrew Wiggins? And B, how does that kind of lay the foundation for what this team is going to look like moving forward? Because there was the idea that they'd use Andrew Wiggins and Norman Powell perhaps in a sign and trade to go land another big-time player.
Yeah, you're right. And first of all, there is a ton of news, even as we're talking right now. I'm sure there's news being broken here anyway. And that's why my voice is not 100% and why I'm drinking mud water right now, if you guys can't tell. But the Andrew Wiggins thing was the latest thing to break here. And it's so funny. The more I thought, so initially it's reported, and I'm like, oh, did he opt out? And then sign a contract for less annual money to help the Heat, bring back Norm Powell or whatever it might be. And then it's clarified that he opted into the $30 million, and then he's going to take the 2 years at basically an annual value of $17 million, 2 seasons from now and 3 seasons from now, that third season being a player option. So on one hand, I was like, okay, so Wiggins going into this, you can either opt into the $30 million, take the cash, move on. Your Norm Powell problems are not my money problems, right? I'm going to take my money and I'm going to keep it going. Or he could play ball with the Heat and try to facilitate some flexibility. This is a middle ground, isn't it? It's like, hey, let me take my money now, but I'm also going to help facilitate some flexibility next summer and the summer after that. And that's the part that I think is really interesting here, is because the Heat and Wiggins obviously work together on this. We'll give you the initial payday, but in return, you're going to take a little bit less money in the ensuing 2 seasons that we tack onto this extension. So I think that says a few things to me. Number one, it could be that the Heat just they don't think it's fair for Wiggins to take the money, or they thought maybe Wiggins would just opt out entirely and they really wanted to bring him back, and this was the way to negotiate that. Or that maybe they don't necessarily view Norm Powell as necessary to this roster build anymore. The way that I think a lot of Heat fans looked at Norm Powell being like, hey, we got to bring this guy back because of the three-point shooting and the offense that he provides us. The Heat might just not see it that way, or they might see it a slightly different way, in that at the end of the day, we don't want to pay a 33-year-old Norm Powell what we're going to have to pay him no matter what. Maybe there's an opportunity for us to get younger and cheaper at this position while, manufacturing some of the same spacing that he was able to provide for us. So I think they valued Wiggins quite a bit alongside Giannis and Bam. I think he makes a ton of sense as a 3-and-D guy who does not need the ball. Shot 41% from 3 last year, was oftentimes Miami's best perimeter defender. They're going to need that kind of player, and that's a perfect kind of player next to Giannis. And I think they probably have plans for what they can do to replace Norman Powell here.
And what about the 3? We know Bam and Giannis is 1, obviously. Bam's 2. Wiggins is not a 3 on the championship team, Wes. This is my opinion. Me and Solana argue all the time about Wiggs. 15, 5, and 3. Like, I'm not impressed by that. What do we need to find? We got to find a guard. Front court's amazing. I don't know what the back court looks like.
It's an interesting way to frame it there, because who is the Knicks' third best player, right? I mean, it was Brunson and Cat, and then certain nights it was OG Anunoby, and certainly that was the case in most of the NBA Finals. Other nights it was Mikal Bridges. Other nights it was Josh Hart. And I think the way you build a championship roster in today's NBA is you have a top 2. We're kind of done with the era of the big 3 in the NBA. They don't really work anymore. You need a top 2 who are very clear pecking order. And then after that, your third guy might not be as good as they used to be during the big 3 eras of the NBA, but your 3 through 5, 3 through 6 are a little bit better. Your 4 through 5, 4 through 6 are a little bit better than what they used to be also. So you're looking for depth there. And I think Wiggins, although consistently night to night is not a number 3 option, I completely agree with you, but maybe he doesn't have to be. I think the idea is, well, Wiggins can be some nights, and then other nights maybe it's Davion going 4 of 7 from 3-point range. Maybe another night it's whoever we end up getting at this 2-guard spot. Maybe, maybe it's a big Bobby Portis night for us, on a random Tuesday. You never know. There's a lot of work to be done on this roster. That is absolutely for sure. But I do think they look at Wiggins as $30 million, probably overpaid. $17 million, now that's a nice deal for a guy like Andrew Wiggins next year. And I always thought this was going to be the idea of Giannis walking into a turnkey contender. I thought was always overstated. I don't think Giannis looked at it that way. I don't think he was he wanted to go to a front office that knew that he felt confident can construct a roster around him that can compete every single year. And I think this deal that you just saw Wiggins sign is evidence of the Heat's front office having a plan. It's not necessarily going to be a turnkey contender by the time the season starts in October, but within the calendar year, they have a lot of tools to get there.
I guess it's a perfect segue to my next question, which would be, when you're looking at who's available and what's out there to fill in the rest of this Heat roster, in a perfect world, Wes, who do you see as the best fits?
Well, you gotta go get some spacing for sure, especially if Powell's walking away. I think Tim Hardaway makes a ton of sense for this group, and I would expect there to be a lot more conversations between those two sides early on in free agency when that officially starts. Is he a starter? Is he a bench guy? I think obviously you'd prefer him coming off the bench as a spot starter at times. I think a guy like Anthony Simons makes a ton of sense for this group, and if you're looking at, hey, can we get cheaper and younger at that Norm Powell spot? Simons makes some sense. Knockdown 3-point shooter. I've watched that guy shoot in an empty gym before, and I'm like, that guy, I think he made 100 straight threes while I was watching him. That guy could really shoot the ball. There's a I think if you look at other veterans, like Mike Conley has been mentioned. I think Gabe Vincent, there's a return potentially there. Chris Middleton is an interesting option as a Giannis guy. And one other name that I would keep an eye on, Brook Lopez, currently under contract with the Clippers. He's on a partially guaranteed deal, and it sounds like they're going to probably walk away from that here as they try to kind of turn the page on whatever it is that they're doing. And he could potentially be available. There's the obvious connection between Brook Lopez and Giannis. Brook Lopez ain't what he used to be, but he's certainly still a very, very high-level backup who can space the floor still. And if you're looking at another tool in the toolbox for Spo, I think Brook Lopez makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the connection to Giannis makes sense. And you're right. Brook Lopez starting for you in 2026-7, maybe not as enticing, but coming off the bench in a limited role, I think is great. You mentioned a couple guys there, Mike Conley, Gabe Vincent, Chris Middleton. I'm intrigued. Let me put it this way. I'm intrigued by any of those names. The Namdi stuff, it kind of hits the memory bank a little bit. Mike Conley is an obvious choice, spacing and veteran, and he wants a ring. But would it make sense for the Heat to try to get younger? You mentioned Anthony Simons. I hope that could be realistic. I just think he's going to end up getting a little bit more money than Miami can offer him. But would it make sense for you this first year to go younger? Or is it kind of just a situation where the Miami Heat are going to have to fill out this roster and they're not going to be able to be picky about it?
Well, it's funny because you go like a Mike Conley. What's younger? Because Mike Conley's going to be 39 when the new season starts. So you can get a 34-year-old and get younger there.
He's a baby.
Right. But I think when you look at the way that they got to fill out the roster, so they essentially now, after Wiggins opts in, they have about $18 million to spend on 4 players, probably 4 or 5 players. You can kind of do both, right? You can go young with some of those spots. You can go old with some of those spots. I think Middleton, that would obviously be going old with one spot. Do you counterbalance that by going younger at another spot? I think the sweet spot is probably guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., who are, early 30s, have real experience, obviously fit a specific need. That could be the way to go on a cost-controlled kind of deal, but they can go all these other directions. The other thing is that they have the 3 two-way spots, and we're already seeing some churn with that. Those are gonna be major development spots for this group. Something that they didn't have during the Big Three era, where it just felt like it was just like churning through the Rashard Lewises of the world all the time at the end of that roster. The two-ways didn't exist back then. Just imagine what they could have done with some development projects there. So you'll have those spots, 3 spots every year, specifically meant for development. But you still have Pella, who was not included in the Giannis trade, and then you have the second-round pick, that they just took. That he's going to be a young guy that they're going to be able to bring. So you already have a couple of young guys on the roster. Jovic is still on the roster, still a young guy. So you already have some youth there. I think it's about finding that balance.
And Wes, I don't want to be the downer, but are we talking about 26, 27 or realistically talk about 27, 28 with Giannis? Because we get Giannis and we're all excited, but now there's so many moves to make. What are we talking about when we're talking about NBA championship contender?
We're talking about a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference this year, which, hey, after 4 straight years of the play-in tournament, winning 1 playoff game in 3 years and missing the playoffs this past year, that's a lot better. That's a huge improvement. And you're talking about, even in that kind of series, having the best coach and potentially the best player on the floor in all those series. Like, we've seen what Eric Spoelstra and the Heat could do with Jimmy Butler playing at that level. I don't think anybody in the league, in the Eastern Conference, is going to face the Miami Heat in a playoff setting. But no, if we're really getting down to brass tacks, we're talking about probably a year, which is 3 sort of transaction cycles, right? You have this offseason, you have the trade deadline, and the next offseason. And one thing, again, that I forgot to mention with this Wiggins contract, because his value is so low, his contract value is so low next year, they're going to have options, as it currently projects to be, the full taxpayer mid-level exception, non-taxpayer, so a $15 million exception next year, and the biannual exception, plus whatever other wiggle room that they're going to have, because now that hard cap that they're operating under now is going to get lifted. So to get away from the nerdy stuff, in other words, a lot more money to spend next summer than they have this summer. So all these things that we're talking about, they can't fit this guy, they can't fit that guy because XYZ and this CBA apron constriction thingy, all that goes out the window next summer. They have a lot more flexibility.
Wes Goldberg, I know you have to go. Before I let you run, though, LeBron James, what happens there? Your gut feeling, because there was a moment on Thursday, Friday, where it really felt like there were some legs that the Miami reunion could end up happening. And I don't think that's totally off the table personally, but now we're seeing that the Golden State Warriors want to basically make a super team with a bunch of old dudes, and Draymond Green reportedly is willing to actually opt out of his player option and take a team-friendly deal to make some wiggle room for LeBron. So your gut feeling, does that happen in Golden State?
I don't know what my gut says. I know what my heart says, and my heart says, please don't do this. Please don't. Like, what a lame way to go out for LeBron. Like, it'd be like Bird and Magic teaming up on the Lakers. Nobody wants to see this. Who wants to see this? Nobody wants to see this. I would rank it like Lakers still to me most likely, Warriors, and then Heat. But I still think the Heat have a chance. But they just are they really going to go all in on LeBron with all the money that they would have to give him, versus, which would be, pretty much a big part of their taxpayer mid-level exception would be $10-12 million ish, and then not have a lot of money left over to fill out the rest of the roster? Or do they just use all that money to just get as much depth as possible, which might be the more the better plan there? But who knows? It's really hard to say no to LeBron if he comes knocking and says, by the way, where's that key that you were talking about? But it kind of feels like the Warriors are treating LeBron like they're Giannis right now, doesn't it? Like if they're trying to move heaven and earth to figure out a way to do it, then I would just, as we've seen, I kind of give the edge to the team that's a little bit more desperate. And in this case, it feels like the Warriors are more desperate.
Listen to Wes and David. They do an excellent job at Locked On Heat. I highly recommend YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast, right, Wes? I think it's on the Odyssey app as well. So make sure to check that out and follow Wes Goldberg on Twitter, especially WC Goldberg. Wes, you got a baby at home, man. Your voice is going through it. But I appreciate you taking the time, man. Seriously, I know it's a busy day.
You got to play through injuries, guys. You guys know this.
You got to swing one of them automatic swings.
For me or the kid?
Get an automatic swing, man, and put it in the bed.
Wes, appreciate you, man.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Wes.
Wes Goldberg there. Yeah, man. You Crowder, you did a couple shows with a baby at home too, man. For several years. That's not easy, bro. Not easy.
Man, they know night and day. Actually, Josh is going through it right now. They don't know night and day. Take your ass to bed.
He's napping in the room behind me, but I'll tell you what, Crowder, that swing, it was not popular in our house. We got rid of the swing.
Big J Rock didn't like the swing?
Did not like the swing.
Oh, you got to lock him in with them little buckles.
Yeah, that made it worse.
You force them to like the swing.
Well, we've grown in other areas. So
who's in charge, Josh?
He is.
He is. It's Hochman, it's Crowder, it's Solana. Josh Appel is in with us. We're taking you up until 6 o'clock.
My friends at Ed Morris are celebrating 80 years in business, and you don't make it 80 years by not knowing what you're doing. They are the best. And my buddy, you see Teddy Morris on commercials. Chris Atkins is a GM over there, and he put together an amazing team. And over at Ed Morris Sawgrass Cadillac, they're commemorating this amazing occasion of 80 years by giving you luxury deals on luxury Cadillacs. You have to check out the all-electric Cadillacs. My wife has an all-electric Cadillac. Check out the all-electric 2026 Cadillac Optic, and you can get that for just $349 a month. And the all-electric 2025 Cadillac Lyrics for just $369 a month. They are watching out for you now. They're going to take care of you. It's going to be great service. It's going to be great people, and you are going to love it. At Ed Morris, they've been family-owned and operated for 80 years, so you know they know how to take care of their customers, and that's the phrase, backed by Morris. So don't miss out on the 80th year anniversary savings. Go see my friends at Ed Morris Sawgrass Cadillac. They are the 6-time dealer of the year. They're right off Sunrise Boulevard and the Sawgrass Expressway. You can't miss it. You're going to see the beautiful cars pull in. They're going to be beautiful people, amazing humans, and they're going to watch out for you at every step of the way. You have to visit EdMorrisSawgrassCadillac.com. And remember, you got to be backed by Morris, from the trade-in to the lease to the sale to the service department. I'm telling you, my entire driveway is backed by Morris. You got to be backed by Morris. Click EdMorrisSawgrassCadillac.com.
You are listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
My ability didn't offset my arrest, huh?
We back at it with this daddy, Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. 305, cafecito time, dame una colada. Got some interviews next. Always got dope guests. Get the cesspool live, dropping comments and likes. We about to get right. Talking sports, my G. Listen to Odyssey and 104.3. Live and back on GeorgiaMusic.com. Hitting it at the park like a Matt Mervis bomb off power. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for that 3 o'clock. Ready for that 3 o'clock.
Brazil at the buzzer, man. Wow. That's
Shambolic giveaway there by Japan. Oof.
yeah, man. That's tough, man. Japan gets the early goal, and Brazil literally with a stoppage time winner in the final minute of stoppage time just
At the
breaks
death.
through the back line at the death, man. At the death. That's crazy. That's scenes at the FIFA World Cup. That is scenes. I think Brazil is going to get Germany, right? In the if they end up advancing, if Germany ends up winning their round of 32 match against who does Germany play? Against Paraguay. I'm pretty sure Brazil will get Germany. I'll double check the bracket now in a second.
I think they get France.
Oh, they get France? Oh. Even better.
Yeah, baby. Go and get them French.
Crazy, man. So you put a lot of money on France to win it all, Crowder?
I might have a grand on France to win it all.
Woohoo! Man.
Yeah. I watched the Argentina game, and Messi goes in there for like 6 minutes, runs around in circles, and everybody cheers. He doesn't do a damn thing.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy what he's doing.
I hate to be that guy, Jimmy. They either get Ivory Coast or Norway, who play tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you, Appel.
Jimmy really doesn't know much, Appel.
I was staring right at it.
I've got a bone to pick with Jimmy because as my World Cup dreams are vanishing in front of me, he's texting, trolling. The thing is, Jimmy, like, you're laughing. I wanted to say the most disrespectful things to you on our group thread on Friday. Just the most disrespectful. I was gonna get personal. I was just gonna say the worst things, and I had better judgment, and I withheld my text so I don't get an email from HR. But man, I wanted to drive. I was up in New York. I wanted to fly to Miami, go to Jimmy's house, and just strangle him. Just knock him out.
I wouldn't blame you.
I'm nonpartisan on this, but Solana, Uruguay is not that good at soccer.
No, they suck. They're trash. But
Okay,
Jimmy,
I'm glad you.
people, No. I'm not disagreeing with that. Like, just a shameful World Cup for my Uruguay side. Totally shameful, humiliating the way that they go out. I mean, the effing Uruguayan Federation isn't even paying the airplane for these guys to travel back to Uruguay because of how bad they played. They're like, oh, you guys are a bunch of suckers. Figure it out on yourself. Take that Spirit flight back to Uruguay. Figure it out. But Jimmy, who doesn't speak a lick of Spanish, who doesn't know one player in the Spanish team, shows up Friday wearing a Spain jersey for our best of show, and then has the goal to start texting, celebrating the Spanish goal when our goalie let it in. Our goalie, who's literally older than the oldest person in the entire world, just gave up the most shameful goal. Like, go to hell, Jimmy. Go to hell. It's 305. Dale.
God bless.
Dale.
F you, Jimmy.
You're welcome, Solana.
305. It's sponsored by Miami Lakes Chevrolet, where you walk in as a customer and drive out as family. There's a lot going on here. Again, Hawk will be back next week. He's in Europe. This week, Zach Gelb will join us tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Friday, it's the day before July 4th. We're going to be doing a best of show, but Appel is with us today. Appel's going to be handling headlines for the entirety of the show. And I know, Appel, that in the last hour, we were kind of up against it with the clock, had Wes Goldberg coming on, so you didn't get to a big Panthers story. So why don't we jump right into headlines? They're brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or at DoralVolkswagen.com.
So I will get to the huge Panthers news in a moment. I know I teased it and I was so eager to get to it, but this question actually has been weighing on me since we started the show, and I was thinking about it. And you just mentioned why I'm here and why Gail will be here. Are the three of you not worried that Hawk is going to come back with a Swiss or an Italian accent like he did when he returned from England?
Gail,
I'm
Josh. I know, J.A. I am so worried about Hawk getting beat up in other countries because he likes to poke at people and he just has no filter on who to poke at. And I'm so scared that he's going to get beat up in another country. Some Swiss dude is going to slap the hell out of Hawk because he's going to just keep messing with him and get beat up. My biggest fear is Hawk getting his ass whooped.
He's going to stick his phone in the waiter's face at the Italian restaurant and order spaghetti and meatballs, and he's going to get that thing slapped.
Jay, it's just something. I am so terrified that he's going to get his ass whooped in other countries because he has no filter on that. He has to be Hawk 24/7.
Are you really going to struggle with Appel's name for the entirety of the show here? Because you called him Gelb, then you called him J.A., which I've never heard you done. Now you're calling him J. Like, it's Appel. What's going on? You good, Crowder? Everything okay over there?
I like nicknames.
Yeah,
like when Jack McMillan's coming on, I'm gonna call him Jack Mac.
No, that's fine. But like, he has one, Appel. That's his nickname.
That's not his nickname. That's his last name.
Well, but that's what we call him. Like, I call you Crowder. That's your radio
not
nickname.
Cool. That's not cool. That's not man-to-man love.
Okay, well then choose one. Choose one, because you're throwing me off here, man. Either J.A.
What do you like, Appel?
Well, I don't know if I've ever told this story before on the air, but when I was 15 years old, I used to do a show with Footy on one of the other stations down here. And he came from like the zany FM morning show on Y100. So he was big into like the radio nicknames. Obviously his name was Footy. So he tried to like give me one. And he started calling me J.A., but that was like too much for Footy to like, he doesn't roll off the tongue. So in order for it to like be smoother, I just became AJ on the Footy show. And that was the first radio nickname I got.
That's
not my name.
backwards.
Nowhere close.
I'm gonna just call you Killer.
Okay. All right.
Is that better for you, Solana, if I just call him Killer?
That'll transition into Big Dog by the end of the show. It's like Crowder.
Killer's like, you don't know me and you don't know my names. You're hitting me with a chief.
Right,
or
but
a bud.
he's calling you J.A. and then J. It's like he doesn't know you anyways.
I like nicknames. So
call me whatever you want.
All right.
I know what I'll call this guy, though. The Butcher. Radko Gudas.
He's back, baby.
The Florida Panthers have acquired the negotiating rights to unrestricted free agent Radko Gudas from the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for the rights to negotiate with AJ Greer, who was likely leaving in free agency. Anyways, it does seem that while this is not official, and obviously the negotiations could go haywire, and Radko Gudas could not end up with the Panthers, from everything that I've gathered, the Panthers love Gudas. Gudas loves the Panthers. And at this stage in his career, he is very open to taking a very, very, very team-friendly deal. And we should see the return of Radko Gudas in a Florida Panthers uniform, assuming they finish his contract out.
Wow.
So I can see Gudas, both Kachuk brothers, Barkey, and March on the ice together. Oh. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. Goodness gracious.
Appel, we asked this of Plagans the other day. Appel's like our biggest Florida Panthers fan on the show. Does this have the makings? And I know I want to get into, we don't have too much time right now, but I want to get into the whole Sergei Bobrovsky situation with you coming up a little bit later on in the show. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Appel, quickly. It seems like he's not as willing to take a team-friendly deal as maybe the Florida Panthers had hoped. Correct? Like that's what it seems like.
That's what I'm gathering. A lot of the national reporters seemingly are indicating that Bob is going to test free agency. That obviously doesn't rule out him coming back. But usually if a player is testing free agency, they're going to end up signing elsewhere.
Right. Could this be the makings of the best Florida Panthers roster we've seen throughout this window where they've won Stanley Cups and they've been to the Stanley Cup final 3 straight years? I know health is a huge determining factor here, so I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but just considering the names that we're talking about, and I'll include Radko Gudas in that, the Brady Tkachuk edition, and now getting Sasha Barkov back, with the goaltending position still yet to be seen and finalized, does this have the potential of being the most talented roster yet?
Yeah, certainly. So the second of the back-to-back, that Cup roster, the one that they acquired Brad Marchand for,
Right.
that, as we stand now, is the best version of this team, top to bottom. That team was crazy with the amount of depth that they had. I certainly think this one is obvious. You don't add Brady Tkachuk to a roster that already had a top 9 that was as good or better than anybody's in the NHL and not give that 24-25 team a run for its money as far as talent goes. Goaltending is a big question mark. The back end of the D-core is a little old with Kulikov and Gudas, assuming he's going to be that on that third pair. But, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a remade fourth line as well, but Bill Zito's done such a good job with the bottom of this roster and filling it out over the last couple of years, really this whole run, that I'm not too worried about it. You add Brady Tkachuk to a roster that was already mostly a Cup champion together. I mean, come on.
Can Tarasov be a guy? Can he be the one, or is he a backup?
Danil Tarasov, to me, is a backup. That's not someone you're relying on to be a 50, 60 game a year starting goaltender in this league. And it's unfortunate that the Panthers, the goaltender that Carolina ended up winning with in the Stanley Cup final, Brandon Bussey, he was a Florida Panther during the preseason. And they tried to sneak him through waivers down to Charlotte after training camp in the preseason. Carolina claimed him. Panthers wanted to have the tandem of Bobrovsky and Tarasov, and now the Panthers are in search of a goaltender. But the other thing, too, is you just saw Carolina with Brandon Bussey. Vegas got to the final with Carter Hart, who was terrible in the Cup final and was out of the league for the 2 previous seasons. Goaltending is hugely important, obviously, but you don't need the big money elite goaltender to win in this league, especially when you've got a team like the Panthers are going to put out in front of said goaltender.
Yeah, but with that being said, go get me Connor Hellebuck. Like I'm all in on this entire situation. I want Hellebuck. I need it, Appel. I need the big name free agent goaltender, or trade for the big name goaltender.
Will Weedo has pulled off many a heist in his tenure running hockey operations for the Panthers. It seems like the only way this deal gets done is if Anton Lundell is a part of it. And I don't know about you guys, I'm not really certain there's a player in the league that I'm giving up Anton Lundell for at this point, a center in his mid-20s on a team-friendly contract who's been to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. That doesn't grow on trees. I'm not getting rid of Anton Lundell. If Bill Zito can pull it off without trading him, I mean, build the statue. We're already building him a statue. Build him a second statue if he pulls off the Hellebuck trade without Anton Lundell being involved.
But I would ask this: Lundell or the best goalie in the world, Appel? Like, let's be honest.
But part of what has made the Panthers so good over this stretch is that when it's time to put your third line out there, and it's Anton Lundell centering Brad Marchand and Eetu Luostarinen, you have the advantage every single time because there isn't a single other team in the NHL that has a third line that can compete with that one. And whenever Sam Bennett decides to hang it up, or he's a long way away from that, but his game theoretically is going to decline over the next few years as he's on the wrong side of 30 at this point in his playing style. Anton Lundell, you're looking at it as being your second line center behind Barkov moving forward. Like, Anton Lundell's not a guy that I'm in any kind of rush to get rid of, knowing how good Connor Hellebuck is, because again, you can win in this league without the top end goaltender, right? Like, we know how good Connor Hellebuck is. What does he want in Winnipeg? And how good were they last year?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, going back to what Wes Goldberg was talking about in the previous segment with LeBron going to Golden State. So here's the situation.
By the way, are we done with headlines?
We're not. Go ahead. Finish it up. I was just kind of moving forward.
He gets excited by the NBA.
Well, I just don't want to make we tease the read. Want to get the tornado
Go ahead.
roofing and
Hey,
make everybody happy.
Pelly, he gets excited when NBA talk comes.
It's fine.
Pelly.
It's all good. I'll leave the Danhausen for the 4:00 headlines. We can revisit that then. Solana mentioned earlier in this segment, Brazil at the death. They beat Japan. They're on to the round of 16. 2 more games today. Germany and Paraguay 4:30. Netherlands, Morocco 9:00. U.S. will play against Bosnia Wednesday night at 8. The Marlins, they begin a 4-game series with the Rockies tonight. Jack McMullen joins us in the next segment. Our coverage begins at 8:00 with Steven Strom. Jack and Kelly Sacco will have the call at 8:40. Fisher a half game out of the wild card. Sandy on the mound tonight. Tune in. All right. Now let me do tornado roofing and the weather, and then we can get back to Wes Goldberg and LeBron and the Warriors and all that.
All right.
Hot temperatures in the low 90s. Feels like a billion. Partly cloudy skies. No rain yet today, but I'm assuming it's the summer in Florida, and we're gonna get rain. That weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, helping keep your home and family safe when the storms roll in. Visit tornadoroofing.com for your free roof and window estimate.
Thank you, AJ. So Shams Charania reported on ESPN, because you have this entire situation going on where Draymond Green is willing to opt out of his player option, create some flexibility for LeBron. But Shams Charania reported that LeBron would not leave the Lakers for the Golden State Warriors in free agency unless they trade for Anthony Davis. Crowder, what the hell does that team do in the NBA in 2026, 2027? LeBron James, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Anthony Davis. Obviously, you'd have to fill in some pieces. There's a whole other layer here from a Miami perspective of Jimmy Butler, who's going to end up getting traded, probably bought out wherever he ends up getting traded to. Could end up being the Washington Wizards if it means Anthony Davis is going to Golden State. That is another conversation that I want to get to, because Jimmy was spotted in Miami. He was at the Colombia game, Colombia-Portugal. He's wearing the Colombia jersey, and he was asked if he's coming back to Miami. He said no. He's been doing this PR tour, trying to proclaim his love for Golden State. He said that's the last jersey he wants to wear. He loves playing there. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Golden State is trying to kick his ass to the curb because they want to go get LeBron and Anthony Davis. But is that team winning a title or competing for a title in 26, 27?
No. I answer your first question. What does Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Draymond Green need? They need bigger ice tubs because they're going to be hurt the entire season. So that would be my answer to your first question. I love that LeBron is watching out for his dudes and saying, I come here if you bring Anthony Davis. And I love that. Like, LeBron's a solid guy. Like, I love that thing. They're not competing with anything with that team. It's just, you see what we saw with the Knicks. We see it with OKC. You got to get young and fast. And, like, that's where the league's going. These dudes are they're my age. I took a nap before the show. I went to my son's game. Then I came back to the hotel and took a nap. These dudes need to take naps. They're not winning any championships at 40 years old.
I don't know, man. LeBron, Steph Curry, if AD can stay healthy.
Yeah,
got Draymond.
And they need what's the thing that Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie sell?
Next Gen or
No, I got it. Hold on.
Eugenics.
Like, what are we sponsored by? Nugenics? Nobody needs a team sponsored by Nugenics.
But Crowder, in a best of 7 series, if those guys are healthy, I'm just saying that they're healthy. Would you not agree that you'd like to avoid a team of Steph Curry and LeBron James, Anthony Davis? No,
it's Emmitt Smith in Arizona. It's Michael Jordan when he was with the Wizards.
Right,
it's
but
like,
now add Michael Jordan and I don't know who else was washed in 2002 by that time, like Scottie Pippen and Magic Johnson. Like or Gary Payton, like add all these guys at the back end of their career.
Jordan at 50, Scotty at 50. Like, bro, like Father Time is undefeated. I understand. I would watch, and they're going to be on all kind of TV shows. But Steph, AD, LeBron, and Draymond, they're like, they're going to need IVs at halftime. I always bring up Emmett in Arizona because Emmett was my favorite player growing up. When I saw him run the ball with the Cardinals, I was depressed. That was the first time I felt depression in my life. Jerry Rice, when he had those dreads and he had that deep hairline with the Raiders, that's not Jerry Rice. That's not Jerry Rice. That's not the best receiver of all time. You just can't say names and say, okay, yeah, but they're 48. I'm fine. I don't want to see that.
You poo-poo Michael Jordan on the Wizards. The dude averaged 23 a game at 38 years old, 20 a game at 39. He was an all-star both seasons. That's poo-pooing Michael Jordan on the Wizards.
That was his name. His name made that, Josh.
Yeah, it's
J.A.
funny though. It's funny though.
Can I call him Appy? I'm gonna call you Appy. I like Appy.
He played 82 games in 02-03.
No, they love to just bypass those numbers though, Pell. Like that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Jordan, 6 finals appearances, 6 rings. The Wizards' years don't count. And low-key, like, his numbers were fine. They were fine. I mean, nothing compared to LeBron at that age, Crowder, let's be honest. But they were fine.
Michael Jordan's better than LeBron James.
Jack McMullen is going to join us. I'm not getting into that conversation. Jack McMullen's going to join us in the next segment. The Miami Marlins, Appel, like, could you have imagined them being in this position at this point of the season, especially considering they were teetering on about a month ago, things kind of getting a little out of hand. And here they are fighting for a playoff position.
I am going to ask Jack McMullen that question because at 8 games under 500 in May, there were a few games there. You think of the Sandy Reds game top of mind. You're thinking, oh boy, this is going to be a long summer. And a lot of the hopes that we had for this team after the way they finished last season, probably not going to come to fruition. But the calendar flipped to June, and something clicked. The bullpen has been nails, the rotation, despite all the attrition it's taken. I mean, Tyler Phillips threw 7 1/3 yesterday, even though they lost 2-1. Ryan Gusto gave him a solid start the night before, even though he went only into the 4th inning. Like, they are piecing this together and pitching well, getting timely hits, and they're missing arguably their best run producer right now in Liam Hicks. And to answer your question, it's the team that I expected to see after April and going into the season, competitive in the thick of things for the majority of the year, but certainly not after that month of May when they fell down 8 games below 500.
And no,
Jimmy. Uh-oh. We got a little breaking news. Oh, why'd you turn it down, Jimmy? What's going on? Let that thing ride. We paid for it. Let it ride. Of course, we pay for the long version, so we got to let it ride the entire way. So this is potentially the best case scenario for our show right now. Crowder, imagine this. After 2 months of me and Hawk yelling at each other over Giannis Antetokounmpo, he doesn't think he's leaving Milwaukee. He thinks all the rumors about him behind the scenes are nonsense. Giannis is telling us he wants to be in Milwaukee. He doesn't want to get traded. He doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. And then, I was telling him for 2 months, Hawk, you're out of your mind. Like, this guy wants out of Milwaukee. It's obvious based on all the reporting, he wants out of Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo, as Hawk leaves to Europe, is now a member of the Miami Heat. But on top of that, listen to this. Bradley Beal has declined his $5.6 million player option for next season and is set to hit unrestricted free agency. Could you imagine? Hawk returns from Europe. The Miami Heat not only have Giannis Antetokounmpo, but they've got Bradley Beal, baby. We got him. We got him.
Bro, if Bradley Beal comes here, I'm jacked up. I got to get me 2 jerseys.
From a basketball standpoint, I don't want anything to do with Bradley Beal. Like, I want nothing. But from a show standpoint, get me Bradley Beal. Please, Pat Riley, get me Bradley Beal. We're going to talk Marlins.
You talking about guaranteed buckets? That's what you don't want is guaranteed buckets.
Well, he was guaranteed buckets 8 years ago, bro. I don't know if you've been watching a lot of Bradley Beal, but we'll talk more about that coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. But next segment, It's the radio voice of the Miami Marlins. Crowder's going to call him Jack Mac 18 times. We'll refer to him as Jack McMullen. He joins
23.
us next.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Are you wearing khakis right now, Joe? That could only mean one thing. We're going to talk a little baseball. And Jack McMullen is going to join us on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com. The Marlins, they did drop their series finale in St. Louis yesterday, but a big but there. The Fish have been on a tear. They continue their road trip in Colorado. First game of a 4-game series is tonight. Jack McMullen is joining us now. We'll be on the call right here, your home of the Miami Marlins, FM 104.3 WQAM. Steven Strom will get you started with Marlins on Deck at 8 p.m. Jack, the Miami Marlins are the hottest team in baseball in the month of June. True or false?
True, undeniably true. I've been popping
Let's
up
go.
all these. I've been popping open all these like power rankings that I see on all these outlets, and like Major League Baseball has the Marlins as the 11th best team in baseball in the power rankings that came out today, and then what Bleacher Report had them at 4 and had the Yankees at 5. I love that. It's awesome, man. Opening up all these power rankings, and you know, like I disagree with a lot of power rankings, but every time I see the Marlins push higher and higher, you know, it's like they might be onto something there.
Jack Mac. Solana gave me hell that I call you Jack Mac. It's a bats. Everybody was talking about pitching, man. But 4 runs, 6 runs, 6 runs, 4 runs, 6 runs. They had a 12-run game a couple weeks ago. Is that the cheat code? Like, we have to get those bats going, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. Like, honestly, I could sit here and tell you that the bats haven't done what they could be doing to their fullest potential in the month of June, and they're still 18-5 or 18-6 this month. Like, it's been ridiculous what the pitching has done, in particular the starting pitching. Last couple of days of May, you had Yuri Perez go down with that hamstring, like gracilis. Channing, I'm not sure if you ever heard the term gracilis. It's like this weird tendon in like kind of in between your groin and your hamstring, but that's what happened to Yuri Perez. And then you also had Junk go down with a shin issue. Marlins were effectively working with 2.5 starting pitchers. I qualified Tyler Phillips as half a starter because he was building up, and they rattle off the best starter ERA in the month of June. They've been ridiculous, but to your point about the bats, it seems like there's more meat on the bone there. You know, Liam Hicks has been out for the last week and a half. And when you get Hicks back in the fold, why can't these guys explode for 10 runs in Denver one of these nights or 10 runs in Sacramento over the weekend? This is going to be a really fun week of offensive Marlins baseball coming up.
Crowder wanted to talk offense. I want to talk pitching in a second. But when this team was 8 games under in May, and you get the news at the end of the month that Yuri and Jansen Junk are going down for a bit because of injury, there's no possible way you could have envisioned 18-6 over the next 24 games.
No, and listen, I like to think in the best possible outcome, like, okay, you run 1,000 simulations, how many of which are 18-6 over the next 24 ball games that you play? There are very, very few of the 1,000 simulations that you could possibly run to get to that, especially with those 2 guys down. But the way you get there pitching-wise is the bullpen being unbelievable, and the bullpen has been unbelievable. You get there by Sandy Alcantara not losing a turn this month, and Sandy is going for, I think, his 6th win in June. He's 5-0 in 5 starts. And then Meyer, every time I wake up, I go to his baseball reference page, and I'm like, there's still a 0 in the loss column. They didn't go change that overnight. It's amazing what Sandy and Meyer have done.
I want to ask you about Max Meyer, though, because he was never this type of guy. He always had the potential to be this, but whether it was injury or just general lack of experience in the big leagues, we never saw anything really close to this version. It flashed every now and again. But what's been the biggest thing for Max Meyer this year that has allowed him to go on this type of run?
I think mindset is a big one. I think this guy is a bulldog and a hyper-competitive human being, and he is able to channel that in the right way. Starts could have gotten away from him a little bit last year, where it's like, okay, you see red, what happens after you start seeing red? I think with him, he's able to channel that like anger or the drive in a positive way. The other one is just what's coming out of his hand. It's the most complete version of Max Meyer's pitch mix that we've ever seen in his baseball life. When they took him 3rd overall in 2020, they knew that slider was amazing. And the slider has been amazing. It was amazing when he debuted in 22. It's been amazing over the course of his Marlin career, but this is the best fastball that Max Meyer has ever had. It's the best changeup that Max Meyer has ever had. And honestly, with the sweeper and slider both going, it's probably the best breaking ball tandem that Max Meyer has ever had.
How much does Joe Mack, Whack, as I like to call him, how much can you attribute to what this month has been to his impact on the group?
Now, is it Whack because it's nothing but W's? Is that the
reason?
Yeah,
you just so
that's
you know
thing.
Bill Zito,
It's called a wombo.
Liam Hicks, he's William Wicks. A little better there because he's got the L at the front of his name.
We just ignore it normally, Jack, and we just kind of roll with it. But,
so I want to apologize to you guys for feeding into it because that probably bought up Hell another week and a half of doing it.
You're right to feed into it.
So sorry about that. It sounds a lot like Wumbo, right? It's sent to M for Minnie when it should be set to W for Wumbo, the whole SpongeBob thing. But I will answer your Whack question. This guy is.
Feel free to use that, by the way, on the air if he does something.
I probably won't, but thank you for the offer. He has been a game changer defensively. He really has. And, yes, you see it in the running game, right? Nobody is stealing bases against the Miami Marlins since Joe Mack debuted. The other one is pitchers are confident in literally everything that they are throwing right now. They're not afraid to spike a breaking ball in the dirt, to be honest with you, because they know that Joe Mack is going to block it, and Mack can pick a ball on the backhand and still fire a back pick to third base to go get a guy in St. Louis yesterday. It's so much fun to watch this guy navigate a pitching staff, navigate the running game, and like in his pregame work, just how he carries himself. He's been a joy for the pitching staff to get to work with, and he's been a joy to get to know in this clubhouse.
And with McCullough, Jack Mack, what was that, number 4? Solana?
Way more.
I think 7. Go
7?
ahead.
Okay, Jack Mack.
Everybody's just working their own bit, Jack. Everybody on the show just works their own bit the entire time.
Everybody's got a quota to hit. Come on. We're all hitting our quotas.
I got 5 more. I need one more question to ask Jack Mack. 7. But McCullough, what he's doing to pitching staff, because people criticized him. We talked about this before. Criticized him pulling guys and using the bullpen too much. Is he doing exactly what he needs to do?
This guy pushes all the right buttons, and there's always a why attached to why he makes certain decisions. And that was the case when the Marlins were not winning too many games in May. It's the case when the Marlins are winning pretty much every game in June. You could ask him, why this guy in this spot? Why this pinch hitter in this spot? Why this reliever in this spot? There's always a good answer. And if you have the opportunity to ask him why, he's going to give you a really good answer to it. So there's a method to the madness at all times. And it's funny because, there are some fans out there that are like, oh, this guy's just picking random dudes to throw in certain spots. That's never the case. It's all calculated. It's all thought about. And it's kind of running through his head time and time again. And it has been amazing to watch him work. What a joy it is to watch, Clayton McCullough do his thing every night in the Marlin dugout. And the rest of the coaching staff, man, I mean, the complementary pieces on that coaching staff, I feel like don't get enough credit. Baseball is really hard, right? In the NBA, you have like a Micah Nori. Everybody knows that in Minnesota, Micah Nori is a really hot name, and he's going to be a head coach at some point.
Strom, you only know that name because of Strom, I'm assuming.
No, I also know it because his kid is a top 10 prospect in the Philly system.
All right.
And that is real baseball sicko stuff for you. But yeah, man, I mean, I think pitching coaches don't get enough credit for the job they do. And the best in baseball, chances are you may know 1 or 2 names of pitching coaches around Major League Baseball. Daniel Moskis is very good at his job. Pedro Guerrero, very good at his job, the hitting coach. There are so many guys. Carson Vitale, the bench coach, very good at his job. It's so much fun to watch these guys go to work every day as a coaching staff.
Carson Vitale, great beard also.
Great beard.
Jack, if I told you before the season that the Marlins would give the money that they gave to Pete Fairbanks, and Pete Fairbanks would have spent time on the IL, away for paternity leave, pitched to an ERA over 6, but the Marlins bullpen will be the best in baseball, what would you say to me?
I would ask you what crazy pills you're taking. But that's why you roll the ball out and play. I mean, these guys have been awesome. And Fairbanks, there are a couple of blow-up outings that he has had, and there were a couple of blips on the radar in the previous homestand. Like Peterson got him for a homer, Jock Peterson with Texas, and then the next day Jock Peterson gets him for another homer, but he's still like secures wins in both of those games. So that's going to make the ERA look worse, but given the situation of the game, like it was okay. You just got to worry about the slug against Fairbanks right now, but it does seem like Fairbanks is slowly but surely coming out of it. 6 runs from the jump, like the 3 spot in Atlanta very, very early, and the 3 spot is an opener against the Yankees, like the first road trip of the year. That'll throw a wrench in reliever ERA. I think reliever ERA is really tough because they just don't throw a lot of innings, to be honest with you. So it's like, okay, this guy has a 7 ERA. What does that mean? 12 earned runs and 6 of them came in 2 outings. Like it's a little misleading to me, but the guys around him, Bender has been unbelievable. Fauché was really good at the beginning of June. Michael Peterson has been excellent. John King, who signed for $1.5 million, is thrown to a 2 ERA in the bullpen. So many guys are throwing it so well.
Jack McMullen, again, listen to him tonight on the call. 8:40 p.m. is your first pitch. Marlins on deck get started with Steven Strom at 8 o'clock. All right, let's get to the serious stuff here, Jack. You were in St. Louis. Now you're in Colorado. What have you eaten at some of these ballparks? I know, correct me if I'm wrong. Last time we had you on, you admitted you're not a big like eat before the broadcast kind of guy, like a big meal before the broadcast.
I'm not a big eat dairy before the broadcast guy.
Dairy.
We were talking about dairy, like kind of gumming up the throat and all that stuff.
Ice cream machine. Right. That's why it came up.
Yeah, no ice cream machine for me.
Right.
But I did do ice cream before the game yesterday. I took the reactive Tums. It's like ice cream, Tums, we're good to go.
Preventative Tums are the best.
So we're all right. But no, I went to Pappy's Smokehouse in St. Louis. St. Louis barbecue.
All right.
Some of the best ribs that you'll have, which is great. And in Denver, you got some options here. Like the breweries in Denver are exceptional, but there is I'm an acai guy. Like I do enjoy my acai.
Oh, Jack Mac, acai.
There's a spot 2 blocks away from the hotel in Denver that has, I think, the best acai on the road. So that's what I ripped for breakfast today. Really good. You got to get your chia seeds involved in your diet.
Jack Mac, you a man with a beard. You don't eat acai.
I shaved, Crowder.
Literally doesn't have a beard. Literally does not have a beard right now. But hold on a second. This is interesting to me. Acai, of course, a superfood. We know that. So you want to get your everything kind of working up top in the morning for the big broadcast at night. What do you go? You go chia seeds. You go kiwi. You go mango. What do you do on top?
A little strawberry. I love my strawberry, like the sliced almonds. And I'm all about getting back to zero, right? So it's like you get a good workout in. Naturally, you got to have a burger after the fact. So acai, to your point, superfood. Like let's make it moderately unhealthy. So like peanut butter and honey and cacao nibs, like all that stuff. So I'm all about just like, all right, you have the positive of the acai. Let's knock it down with some unhealthy stuff.
I'm glad you went peanut butter. People get real cutesy with the almond butter. Like, all right, what are we doing with the almond butter? Peanut butter is
for me one more time.
The almond brother?
No.
Almond butter?
No,
almond. He couldn't know how to say it, Jack Mac.
A new baseball player named Almond.
Almond. Almendra in Spanish, Jack. I mean, come on. A couple months on Calle Ocho. You should be hanging with me, bro. And then what about last week, Flanny's Fest? I saw you rocking your Flanny's jersey in the broadcast booth. I saw the video that you guys posted on the Marlins Radio Network Twitter account. And the Marlins were really cool. They sent us all our Flanny's jerseys as well. What was the vibe like in there? Oh, and the Scottish fans, the Tartan Army takeover. What were the vibes like for both those games?
Okay, so I'll tell you, the Tartan Army was so cool. It was 9,000 Scottish people in there, and it didn't seem like they had any idea what was going on, but they brought the juice, and you heard the bagpiping, and you heard the chants, and it was amazing. And the West Plaza right outside the ballpark for 2 hours before first pitch was electric. You could hardly move out there. It's just a bunch of sweaty, drunk Scots out there, which is great. But that it was a once in a lifetime baseball environment, especially with the roof closed and all the sound being trapped. And
Yeah.
credit to the Marlins, they ordered extra beer and they did not run out. It was one of the best food and beverage days of the year for the Marlins, and they did not run out of beer, which was great. But Flanny's Fest was awesome. There are 2 giveaways that I refused to take off for a couple of days, and it was the Flanny's jersey and then the captain's hat that Hawk refused to take off as well. So I was rocking those pretty much all the time, and Flanny's Fest was awesome. The crowd was great. They had a couple of concession stands set up with ribs and the garlic rolls and some wings, and putting down the ribs before the game. Listen, did the stomach love that? Not necessarily. Did my heart love that? Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Got to get through
That's
it,
what
man.
matters.
Yeah. Sometimes, team first, right? You throw down the ribs and you get right through the broadcast. It's Flanny's Fest, brother. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and I'm always team first, man. So I figure for the greater good of Flanagan's and the Marlins, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a hero this afternoon.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your service, Jack McMullen.
I appreciate you.
Listen to him again on the call. You guys have been doing great work, and the Marlins are doing great work on the diamond as well tonight. 8:40 p.m. Right? 8:40 p.m. is your first pitch. Marlins on deck with Steven Strom at 8:00. Jack, we appreciate you, man. Have a great broadcast and safe travels. I guess not till the end of the week, right? You guys are still out on the road until next Sunday.
Yeah, we got 4 in Colorado, then 3 in Sacramento, but appreciate you guys, and maybe Wowak makes it. Maybe.
Yes.
There we go. Appreciate
Hey,
you,
listen,
Jack
some of
Mack.
those games at Coors Field get crazy. I mean,
Jack McMullen, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys.
thanks, Jack.
All right, there you go,
That
Jack
was 13.
McMullen.
That was 13 Jack Max.
Yeah, yeah. No way he likes that.
He loves it.
Nah, I don't think so.
You're the
I don't
only
think
one that
so.
doesn't like it. Hawk likes it.
It's the Hochman, Crowder, and Solana show. Crowder, AJ, Jimmy, Solana will take you up until 6:00. We're going to get back into the NBA coming up. Plus, I want to get Appel's take on Sergei Bobrovsky. I also have some Dolphins stuff that I want to get into. It's no, not Danhausen. I'm pretty much done with Danhausen, but we're only a couple weeks away from training camp. As crazy as that sounds, we're only a couple weeks away from training camp. So I have a story for you guys as well regarding the Miami Dolphins. 4:00 hours coming up.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Baseball.
4 o'clock hour, we roll on here on the Hochman, Crowder, and Solana show. Love talking a little baseball with Jack McMullen. Appel, you got to be hyped up about the Marlins, man. I know we talked about it, but it feels like this team is finally starting to look like the team we thought Peter Bendix would construct. Right?
Al Mons, Peter Bendix. Yeah, and look,
I mean, what are we doing here? You're reaching there. You're reaching.
I'm glad. Listen back to the tape. I'm glad that Crowder asked that question about Clayton McCullough, because when they were in their little rut in May, every move that he made that didn't work got absolutely roasted. And all this conversation that you would see on Marlins Twitter, which, however big Marlins Twitter is, it still exists. If the Marlins had a different manager, they'd probably have 3 or 4 more wins. Fire Clayton. And yet they're rattling off an 18-6 stretch this month. And the same people who are ripping him for the same moves, all of a sudden, silent. But you know what's going to happen? If they go through another tough stretch, Clayton McCullough is the problem again. I know it comes with the territory of being a manager or being a coach in any sport. You're not going to get the praise. You're probably going to get a lot of the blame, very similar to a quarterback. But it is what it is. Clayton McCullough deserves a lot of credit. The entire coaching staff deserves a lot of credit for what they've been able to do in engineering this turnaround. Because, again, as Jack McMullen alluded to, a lot of the moves that Clayton McCullough was making maybe in May didn't work out so great. But you play the percentages and the analytics with this group. And over time, those moves theoretically are supposed to work more often than they don't. And you stick with the process, and you're seeing some of the results here in the month of June.
We do have a lot of stuff going on in the NBA. We haven't even gotten to the trade that the Suns and the Hornets made. I guess now we're all on Bradley Beal watch. He declined his $5.6 million player option for next season. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of commotion about it right now on social media. Why not take a flyer on Bradley Beal? I don't know. I don't know about all that. There's also this report from Brian Windhorst that LeBron James, his number one priority next season is, quote, happiness, not money. What exactly does that mean? Does that mean
Retire.
Staying in Los Angeles? Does that mean, really? That's your takeaway from this? Retire?
I mean, if you're trying to be happy and money's not a concern, retire. Go be with your family.
He can
retire.
still play. Well, he can
No,
still
money's
play.
not important. Play for free.
Well, I mean, he's the greatest player, is the second greatest player of all time. I don't want to do that, but I mean, the idea of him taking the minimum, as a lot of people suggest to me, is just blasphemy. Like, why would he take the minimum when there would be a team, if LeBron truly entered free agency, like truly unrestricted free agency, there would be a team that would give him whatever he wanted, $70 million for a 1-year deal, or 2 years, $120 million if he really wanted to. So the idea he's going to take, a vet minimum, to me was always ridiculous. But we're seeing this commotion about him going maybe to Golden State, joining Anthony Davis, joining Steph Curry, joining Draymond Green. And maybe if this report is true from Brian Windhorst that, it's happiness over money right now for LeBron, like, maybe that's where that's stemming from. He'd rather go play somewhere where he doesn't have to be in a situation that isn't ideal for him, which it sounded like in Los Angeles last year. There's a little bit of, I don't want to say like animosity, but there's a little bit of uncertainty as to whose team it was and what the direction of the franchise was. So I don't know. Maybe that also opens up the door for a Miami Heat reunion. We know he's on record, his wife also, while they're doing a live stream on Instagram, saying that they both miss the city of Miami.
Hasn't there always been that noise with LeBron in LA about some kind of friction, whether it's the front office, whether it's the staff? I feel like there's always been something.
Yeah, but there's always friction with LeBron. Like, even when he was in Cleveland, there was also always like this notion that the front office wasn't doing enough. And there was always this notion that LeBron is planning his exit. And there's always this notion that whoever the coach is under the hot seat just because it's LeBron James. And, he's sending his his hidden messages behind the scenes. So, I mean, there's always that notion to me, but I don't know. I know some people are a little sick about the LeBron James discussions, but here's what I'll tell you. When you have the potential of that caliber of player, LeBron, maybe coming to your franchise, rejoining the Miami Heat, like that noise isn't going anywhere until he makes his decision. I'm sorry, but it's just not going anywhere.
I mean, and he's still, this is hot take, still a really good player at this age. And with what the Heat's roster could end up looking like, why do you not? Why do you not, if he's willing to come down here, kick the tires and try and make that work? It's a no-brainer. I'm not really sure why anybody would have an opinion against him being down here. I will say, like, I feel like for me personally, it would be a bit depressing to see him ride off into the sunset with everybody else in Golden State. I'm not staying up till 10:30 every night to watch. Like, it's just, I'm not going to see any of it.
Yeah, Wes had that same take where he's like, does anybody want to see that? I'm not going to lie. I kind of, as somebody who would love to see him back in a Heat jersey, just because I want the star power. I want Giannis. I wanted Giannis from the beginning. Giannis now, you add LeBron to me. It's fun. It's interesting. You're the center of the basketball world again. Plus, I genuinely believe it makes you a better basketball team. Like, genuinely. I don't know how this is going to end up working out now that Andrew Wiggins gets extended. But I don't know. I feel like I'm on the other side of this where I'd rather see him go to Golden State, even if it means he's putting on another team's jersey that he's never worn before. I'd rather see him do that in Golden State and at least give it one last go to go win a title with Steph Curry than go to Cleveland, where I don't think they're a better team. I just don't. Like, I understand the Cleveland stuff. He gets to retire. It's his city. It's his organization. I get all that. Like, I get the sentimental stuff with Cleveland. But I don't think they're a better team. And if, to me, LeBron James is going to keep playing basketball, he should go somewhere where they have a legitimate shot to win an NBA title. And it looks, from the way that it's being kind of framed for us, Cleveland would have to give up a Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They'd have to give up something big. Right. Why would they do that? And that doesn't make them better. It just doesn't. It's a linear move.
But is Golden State with LeBron and
I don't
this
know,
version
man,
of,
but I don't know. I don't know.
If the Wizards even decide they want to trade Anthony Davis, like, is that a title? Is that a Western Conference championship contender, let alone an NBA title contender?
Maybe not, but last year they're playing with Jimmy Butler before he tears his ACL, and when Steph Curry was healthy, Jimmy was healthy, Draymond was healthy, that team at the very least had some life. At the very least, had a little bit of life. I'm not saying they would have won the West. I'm not saying they would have been able to take out Oklahoma City or San Antonio. Probably not. But they had life. I mean, LeBron James is better than Jimmy Butler at this point in his career. And you bring in Anthony Davis, who, you can't rely on him to be healthy for 92% of the season. But at the end of the season, if he can stay somewhat healthy and he's your third option, I don't know, it's pretty damn good to me, man. Like, at the very least, it's fun. It's fun, and it's Steph and LeBron together. To me, there's appeal there, massive appeal.
It's honestly a lot like what we're seeing with Team USA in hockey, where all those guys seemingly want to play together. It worked out with Brady and Matthew Tkachuk, but that feels like it has roots in Team USA with LeBron and Steph, where they got that opportunity to play together, and now they want to do it in the NBA. Is Bronny a package deal with all of this too?
It seems like Bronny would be following his pops wherever he went. Yeah, it does seem that way.
I mean, the Heat need shooters.
That's what Mario Chalmers told us on Thursday last week. He's like, Bronny can get real minutes at the point. And then Colin Cowherd ran with it in his first segment on Friday morning. Let me get to our stock market report. It's sponsored by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Good day on Wall Street. The Dow advanced about 306 points. The S&P 500 gained 1.17%. And the NASDAQ rose about 2%, or a little over 2% today. So solid day on this Monday on Wall Street. Again, that's brought to you by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. It's Appel. It's Solana. Crowder should be rejoining us momentarily. Jimmy's here as well. We'll take you up until 6 o'clock. If you have been out the last couple days over the weekend or before that. This week, Hawk will be back next week. He is gallivanting in Europe. If you want to watch him, basically doing like a photo shoot, drinking Aperol Spritz. That's on his Instagram, but that's what he's up to. Let's get to headlines here in this 4 o'clock hour. We still have a lot to get to. I want to get into this Dolphin story with you, Appel. I also want to get to who got funky later on this hour, and then get back into the Miami Heat news as well, with Andrew Wiggins signing this extension. Let's do headlines, though. Josh Appel's here. Headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or at DoralVolkswagen.com.
World Cup knockout stage. Those games are underway. We've seen 2, with both games being decided on goals in stoppage time. Canada, in the second minute of stoppage time last night, advanced against South Africa. Today, after falling behind 1-0 at the half, Brazil scores 2 in the second half, including the game winner, the match winner, in the 5th minute out of 6 in stoppage time, and Brazil are through past Japan in dramatic fashion. Today, we've got 2 more knockout games to go in the round of 32 this afternoon. Germany and Paraguay get underway in about 13 minutes. Netherlands and Morocco complete the slate today at 9 o'clock. More games tomorrow before the United States plays their knockout round match in the round of 32 against Bosnia. That's on Wednesday night at 8 p.m.
And that could serve as our World Football Scoreboard update. That's brought to you by your local Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is truly unmatched for every match, with 29-degree drafts of Michelob Ultra spicy margaritas made with Casamigos and unrivaled views all tournament. Twin Peaks, each drinks and scenic views.
Does Uruguay being eliminated from after the group stage, does that like make it difficult to watch everything that's happening from here? Because like with the Panthers, I watched.
Miserable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But like I watched the Stanley Cup playoffs when the Panthers weren't involved, but I didn't feel, obviously, but like it still kind of hurt a little bit, and I almost didn't want to watch some of the games. Like I'm imagining that's similar for you.
I mean, I'm still watching all the games. I've only missed 2 World Cup games, I think, the entire tournament. So I'm still watching all the games. Like I'm as bought in as I've ever been on a World Cup, just because it's here. But yeah, like watching Argentina just steamroll everybody stings me a little bit inside, even though I'm happy for Leo Messi. Watching a team like, Ecuador get that last minute winner against Germany and kind of inspire a little bit of hope for me, where it's like, oh, we can take down Spain. Like it's going to happen. Here it is. Yeah, it's a little tough. I'm not going to lie. Appel, I was down bad on Friday night, because it's not even that they get grouped. Like it was just humiliating. The whole thing was humiliating. You can't beat Saudi Arabia. You can't beat Cabo Verde, which is a phenomenal story, but still, like, those are 2 sides that Uruguay has way more talent than. And then against Spain, you don't even get outplayed against Spain. You just shoot yourself in the foot again, because your goalie shouldn't even be on the squad, shouldn't even be on the roster, gives up an elementary goal. And it was just like the whole thing. And then, at the end, it's so predictable with Uruguay. You get a red card from Canovio, who just was playing dirty the entire match. And then they're chirping at the officials. And then there's like all this noise around the locker room after the game. The coach is throwing the entire team under the bus. The players are throwing the coach under the bus. Like, it's just all so predictable with this with Uruguay, man. It was embarrassing to go out like that.
Well, the good news for you, at least, is that you didn't spend upwards of $1,000 combined on both games to go watch all of that in person.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But at the very least, I got to watch 2 World Cup games of my national team, and they didn't. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people who were kind of messing around saying, because the Portugal-Colombia prices here for the final group stage match at Hard Rock Stadium were insane. Like, get-in price ended up being right at around of kickoff, $4,000+. It ends 0-0. Colombia gets absolutely robbed with that offsides call at the very end of the game. They should have won that game. Not that it mattered. They end up topping the group anyways. But that 0-0 match was awesome. Like, the scenes in there were incredible. You see Jimmy Butler, Crowder, rocking the
when
the
bees in
Columbia
his hair.
jersey. He was asked if there was the potential of him coming back to Miami. Let's just say this dream scenario for Golden State fans where they get Anthony Davis, they get LeBron James, they have to trade Jimmy Butler to make that work, and he gets bought out. Would either of you be interested in Jimmy Butler coming back to Miami on a buyout basically for nothing? You're getting him basically for nothing.
No, because I watched him stand in the corner before they traded him back in the day, and he's old and he's coming off an ACL injury. I know how sports go. Old guys with ACL injuries, they don't do very well.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. TYFYS. See you later.
What does that
So what,
stand
like
for? That's
Thank
an
you for your
acronym?
Thank you for your service.
Oh, okay.
So what, like the disrespect was too large, that relationship can't be repaired this early. It's done.
I'm telling y'all, man, when you have a guy like Pat Riley, when I watched him stand in the corner, Solana, man, you argued about it. Where that is just ridiculous to the game. Like, go play basketball. I don't care how you're upset, your agent, and y'all are talking. Just don't stand in the corner. And we were sitting in the middle of Jimmy Butler, the guy that took us to 2 finals, standing in the corner, clapping his hands. It rubbed me the wrong way.
I happen to agree with you, by the way. Like, I don't think there's a chance in hell it happens. I don't think Jimmy Butler, because he's as petty as they come, right? Like, I don't think he would have any interest in doing that. But I do think there's a large part of the fan base that would love to see Jimmy Butler come back, play with Giannis finally, Giannis, Bam, and Jimmy, and kind of like just rekindle that relationship somehow. I don't buy into it. I don't think that would ever happen. I think there's 29 other teams or 28 other teams that Jimmy Butler would rather go play for. But I do think there's a large part of Heat fans that would love to see that happen.
Not even emotional, but this is just strategic. This is just sports. An old guy that just tore his knee up. Who wants that? Nobody wants that. If LeBron tore his knee up, I'd be like, I don't want an old LeBron with a bad knee. Like, Jimmy's not. Jimmy,
I take the chance there.
You take LeBron off an ACL?
Yeah, why not?
Nowadays, Crowder, ACL injury, it's like a little Band-Aid. A little surgery, a little 6 months of rehab.
Don't play into Solana, Appy.
It's like Tommy John. You come back even stronger. No big deal.
Appel, do you know Solana thinks that pitchers want to get a Tommy John surgery?
Not what I that's
exactly what you said.
Wildly misquoting me. I said pitchers are more likely to opt into Tommy John now if given the chance, because it could actually revitalize their career. And they come back oftentimes throwing a little bit stronger. That's all I said.
I would say that if the option is not having Tommy John surgery, I would think that they don't want to miss a year of baseball.
I don't know
but if
that.
the options presented to them are like, oh, I have to get Tommy John, it's not the worst thing in the world, then yeah. But nobody
prolong their
wants
career.
A Tommy John surgery, Apple. Granny Smith.
Could prolong their career, pal. It really could. There's some science behind that.
What about Granny Smith? Do you like that because of pale Apple?
Yeah.
I do like a Granny Smith apple. I'll tell you what. I've got a couple more headlines here if we want to get to them before the end of this here segment. According to Shams, Kawhi Leonard has indicated that the only team he'd sign an extension with, if traded from the Clippers, is the Toronto Raptors, which is interesting because Kawhi Leonard was reportedly one of the pivot options, Crowder, if they didn't land Giannis Antetokounmpo. It would kind of suck to find out after not landing Giannis that Kawhi only wants to re-sign with Toronto, so that's a bullet dodged. But interesting nonetheless that Kawhi only would extend with the team he won an NBA title with.
Even Kawhi. I don't want an old injured guy. And I don't know if I'm by myself on this.
Man, you're an ageist. What's going on here, bro? You don't like anybody above the age of 35? What's going on here?
No, who wants old injured people?
Nah, but here's the thing with Kawhi that's interesting to me. the hell's going on with this investigation with Aspiration and the Clippers? I wonder truly, can Kawhi Leonard be suspended for this, or if the Clippers are found guilty, which I don't understand how they haven't been already, because I thought Pablo Torre's reporting was pretty straightforward. But
Found out.
I'm willing to wait for whatever independent investigation that Adam Silver and the NBA hired. Like, fine, I'll wait this out before jumping to any conclusions unfairly. But can Kawhi Leonard be charged with anything? Can he be found liable or guilty of anything when really it was the Clippers and Steve Ballmer and their dealings kind of finagling the system to get him paid a little bit more? If you're a player just accepting funds, even if you know it's illegal, like, I just wonder who the responsibility falls on in that situation. And B, if Kawhi Leonard could potentially face repercussions for this, right? Would the NBA step in if the Clippers and the Raptors are close to a trade? Could the NBA step in and say, hey, Toronto, we're not going to let you do this because of what happened with the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets and Terry Rozier, where the Miami Heat trade assets
totally
for Terry
different.
Rozier? Well,
Totally different.
It is different. What Terry Rozier did, Crowder, was way more egregious. I'm not disputing that. But the situations are similar in the fact that Miami trades for a player, gives up an asset. That player is not available for the roster anymore because of things outside their control that the NBA knew about, by the way. And in this instance, Toronto could be trading for a player, giving up an asset for that player. And Kawhi Leonard, once this investigation is over with, who knows when that's going to be, could end up being ineligible to play for the Toronto Raptors without them really having anything to do with it.
So what did Kawhi do? Just recap so people know. Kawhi took what assets from another company that Steve Ballmer owned. That's not like gambling on NBA games.
I agree. I'm not suggesting Kawhi Leonard is going to face prison time like Terry Rozier. I'm not comparing the two allegations. I'm just telling you that there's some similarities in the sense that the NBA has to play this smart, because if the Clippers agree to a trade with the Toronto Raptors, the Raptors give up draft capital or they give up assets, young players, however they end up landing Kawhi Leonard. And then 3 months from now, the NBA's independent investigation ends up resulting in Kawhi Leonard being ineligible to play. That's unfair to the Toronto Raptors. So the NBA should have to step in at that point before a trade is finalized to say, hey, I would wait to move on this because we have to find out what the results of this investigation are, which is what they should have done, Crowder, with the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets. The NBA should have nixed that trade, or at the very least allowed the Miami Heat to be in on those conversations of, hey, there's something going on behind the scenes here that you guys should probably be aware about before you end up moving a first-round pick for the dude.
I see you, young Pat Riley. I understand you're Pat Riley's nephew, and I agree with you on the Heat situation. What do we get, a second-round pick for him?
Who? Yeah, I mean, they flipped us a second-rounder. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. But a owner using his billionaire status to put a little whipped cream on the pie, I don't know if that's going to be I think that'll be a slap on the wrist to Steve Ballmer. I don't think that's going to be like Terry Rozier's situation.
Mm-hmm. What else you got, Appel?
Marlins back in action tonight, 8:40 in Colorado. Coverage begins tonight, 8 o'clock. Steven Strom and then Jack McMullen and Kelly Sacco have the call for you. Again, first pitch at 8:40. Fisher 44-40. Sandy on the mound. Half game out of the wild card. Panthers news. On the heels or the skates of the Brady Tkachuk acquisition, the Panthers, they've got some roster spots to figure out. They've made a move to maybe potentially figure out who their sixth defenseman will be. They've acquired the Butcher from Radko Gudas, from Anaheim. Radko Gudas. The Panthers, they have the rights to negotiate with Radko before he officially hits free agency. I would imagine a deal will get done. There are other reports that Sergei Bobrovsky will test free agency, which leaves the Panthers' goaltending situation a bit in flux. There are some trade options. There are a couple of solid free agents out there, but nothing that's really too exciting in that realm. I'm assuming we'll talk about that maybe in the 5 o'clock hour. And then the final headline, I hate to bring the mood down, but this was one of the biggest stories in sports today. Former NFL running back Chris Johnson, CJ2K,
man.
in an interview with Michael Strahan today on Good Morning America, he revealed his diagnosis of ALS at just 39 years old, and this thing has accelerated extremely, extremely quickly. And he was doing this interview using the technology in front of him. He's unable to speak anymore without using the technology that assists him on a daily basis, and it's really, really sad. One of the most electric running backs that I've seen in my entire life, unfortunately, diagnosed with ALS.
Josh, I played against this man. I know him as a person. I saw those clips, and I'm going to watch the whole interview with Michael Strahan. It is crazy. He doesn't even look like himself. He's lost so much weight. He looks like a different person. This is why, like, we talk about it on the show all the time when stuff like this happens. Like, appreciate the human while they're still alive. Appreciate them when they're in their prime, because something like this, man, is wild. I'm gonna reach out to CJ. That whole thing blew my mind this morning when I woke up.
But I watched the interview. Something that, like, bro, I was emotional watching him, man, because he said 1 year ago I was picking up my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, from school. Today I can't do that. Said something like that. And bro, like that bleep hit, man. Like that bleep hit.
One of the most explosive athletes in the history of time. He was a 4-2 guy.
Yeah.
Now he can't talk.
Crazy, man.
Like,
Crazy.
man, I'm tearing up, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's nuts to think how fast things can go. Appreciate people out of here, man.
Yeah. True that, man.
No easy segue to the weather, but we would be remiss if we didn't mention that news today. 92 degrees, feels really hot. No rain in the forecast today in South Florida, although it is the summer. That could obviously change. That weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Storm season is coming. Make sure your home is ready. Get your free roof and window estimate today. Visit tornadoroofing.com.
All right, still a lot to get to. I want to do Who Got Funky coming up in the next segment. I want to get into this Dolphin story as well. We'll keep an eye on Germany, Paraguay, which is just underway now in the round of 32. It's Crowder, it's Appel, it's Jimmy, and it's Solana. Take you up until 6 right here on 104.3 WQAM.
This is Hawk, Crowder, and Solana.
Everything that comes out of my mouth is generally wrong.
Yo. Oh, just in a commercial break. How are you?
I dig it.
Wow, man. A Shams Bomba. What is going on in the NBA, man? Ja Morant. Imagine telling somebody in 2022, 2023, Ja Morant is going to get traded for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. I mean, wow. Wow.
They're trying to get rid of Ja Morant.
I mean, any way possible. Any way possible. That's crazy, though. That's insane.
It's the trouble. I think his ability overlaps his struggle, but they didn't think so in Memphis.
I mean, they literally just said whatever. Oh, okay, this is what we're getting. We'll take it. We'll take Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray off your hands here. Take our problem. Go ahead, Portland. Take our problem.
That's what it is. When your talent outweighs your trouble and your struggle, then they deal with you. But Memphis didn't feel that way. I tell athletes this all the time.
Could that mean Damian Lillard might be looking for another team soon? Could it end up happening in Miami?
Old people with injuries. We talked about this last segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. You hate the old.
I don't hate the old. I hate old guys with career-ending injuries. I don't want to be heartless, but I have to be. I have a lot of Pat Riley in me.
Yeah. All right. Here's what I want to do. I want to do Who Got Funky here, and then in the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour, we'll talk about this Ja Morant trade. We'll get back into the NBA. But Jimmy, hit me with the big open. No tomfoolery because we're up against it. Hit me with the big open of Who Got Funky.
Yo, E, what you want to do now, man? Yo, whatever it is, it's just got to be funky. 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 I can't get enough of that funky stuff. You know it's funky, 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 because you heard it from here. See.
Who Got Funky? On Hawk, Crowder, and Solana.
Who Got Funky? Brought to you by our friends at Funky Buddha Brewery. Good vibes are always on tap at Funky Buddha. Crowder, who got funky over the sports weekend?
Man, so I'm watching this Argentina game, and now I found out that Lionel Messi scored every Argentina goal that they have in the World Cup. And then they put the puppies in, and then the puppies scored a couple goals. Then they put Messi in, and he kicked the ball, and I don't know how physics can do this, but the ball whirled around somebody's leg and squirreled around somebody else's leg and went in the goal. This man is amazing. He's Argentina's savior. He's the best soccer player in the history of time, and he has a beautiful wife. I saw his kids up there jumping around in the box. Lionel Messi got funky. He's been getting funky, and he's going to keep getting funky. And he's old, but he's not injured.
Funky.
Bro, the stats of Messi are stupid. All-time leading goal scorer. All-time leading goal scorer for Argentina. In the World Cup history, right? With Argentina.
Yes.
But also, there was a stat I read the other day. I'm trying to find it right now, and I'll get back to it. But he's already like top 8 all-time after turning 33 years old. It's just in the World Cup, it's ridiculous.
Before that penalty kick, he winked at the camera. He literally looked at the camera, winked, and then hit that goal. Me and my son are sitting in the bed watching it, and I'm like, Chan, we're watching greatness right now.
Solana, how is it even a debate between Ronaldo and Messi? How is that even a thing? Because I mean, maybe it's because we're close to Messi now, our good friend. But, I mean, what are we doing here? Was it ever really a legitimate debate? Because Messi, to me, has always seemed like the better player.
No, it was. Ronaldo has more Champions League titles with Real Madrid. The stats that Cristiano Ronaldo put up for over a decade were just as good, at times better, than Messi. The thing is, with Messi winning the World Cup, to me, the debate was over. And now what he's doing at this age, continuing to play at a high level with Inter Miami. And by the way, the MLS haters have to be in shambles.
Oh my
because
God!
the
Every
idea
single MLS player is scoring in this tournament. It's
every
crazy.
MLS player is contributing, but also the fact that Appel, covering the MLS, people talk about it's the retirement league. Messi came here to just cash in a check. He's no longer. Who cares if he won the MLS title? Doesn't matter. And then to come into the World Cup and dominate proves that while he's playing at the MLS, he could still play at a top level on the world stage. Like it's insane, man. Absolutely.
And I want a backcourt rule in soccer. So I'm not a great soccer fan because I want a backcourt rule because it's a waste of time to kick it way back to the goalie. When Messi gets the ball, everybody on Jordan would just run at him. Like they did not want Messi to beat them, and you still beat them. It was, bro, it's amazing how good Messi is at soccer.
And by the way, Argentina's path, they're going to play Cabo Verde in the round of 32 here in Miami. Their path back to, at the very least, the semifinal is, let's just say, pretty favorable. They're going to be heavy favorites in every single game. Appel, who got funky over the sports weekend?
You'll be shocked to learn that I'm going to go off the board into WWE for this.
Oh, all right.
Sami Zayn, finally the WWE undisputed champion after more than a decade in WWE. I believe 12 years, signed in 2014. Sami Zayn finally the WWE champion, won it in front of a not enthusiastic crowd in Saudi Arabia. Everybody's dream when they go to WWE is to win the WWE title in Saudi Arabia. Sami Zayn has done it.
Is he black or white?
He's
Funky.
He's funky.
Jimmy, who got funky? Please be better than WWE. Who got funky over the sports weekend?
I'm going to say the Marlins. They won another series in St. Louis.
Right. I like that. The Marlins definitely got funky. I have two for you, but I'm not being foolish here, Crowder, because I know I always go with more than one. Serena Williams, and I'm not even doing a bit here, Crowder. Serena Williams is going to play at Wimbledon tomorrow. She's going to be back on the court. She's playing Maya Joint. And the idea that Serena Williams, after not having played at a major tournament, at a slam in a decade, 44 years old, is back at a slam to play at Wimbledon is genuinely, like, we're talking about GOATs, Leo Messi, greatness is absurd. I don't think she has a chance in hell to win this tournament, but just the fact that she's back there, she's going to play women's doubles with her sister Venus. No joke. Like, absolutely insane stuff. Insane.
I love it too. And we're talking about old people with injuries. She's old. What is she, 44?
44 years old.
She's older than me. Like, she's old. But for her to get back out there and to just try after having a baby, after having all the medical stuff that we know, it's amazing that she can go out there and she has a chance to win. It's not like we're going. This isn't a retirement tour. She has a chance to win. Her and her sister have a chance to win. Solana, don't poke your face out.
Yeah, in women's doubles, they could probably get pretty deep. I don't think she has a chance in hell winning the singles tournament at all. But win a first round matchup against Maya Joint, like, I think that's very doable.
Isn't she playing some little girl from Russia that's like 19?
No, she's playing an Australian 20-year-old in Maya Joint. So I think she could win this first round matchup. We'll see. Either way, just the fact that she's out there. I'm not joking. Like, a 44-year-old after having kids, after having not played in over a decade, like, absurd.
Yes,
just insane stuff. And really quickly, guys, Jimmy, go ahead, lower the bed. I want to give a shout out to fans of our show that sent us all some really cool swag. Let me lower my mic here so you can see it in the video. But they sent us, this is Dem Boys Apparel, and their Instagram is Dem Boys, but it has 305 in it. So it's D3MB0Y5, Dem Boys 305 Apparel. It's all Miami-themed apparel. They're big fans of the show. Crowder, I think they've connected with you in the past as well.
I got them boy shirts.
Yeah, they hooked us up. Just big fans of the show, and they hooked us up. They sent us all. I've got stuff for Crowder, Jimmy, Hawk, and myself. Some really cool T-shirts This is one right here. Them boys. They sent us some socks as well with their logo on it. We've got t-shirt Appel. I'll send you a little something. I'll hold on to a little something for you also.
Thank you.
The other shirt.
Yeah.
So
make sure mine is 2X in the belly, because I've been working out.
Yeah, I let them know we have one tubby on our show. So here's one of the other shirts that they sent me. Just really cool dudes. They're massive Miami sports fans, and I thought it was cool that they hooked up the Hochman, Crowder, and Solana show. So shout out to Dem Boys Apparel again on Instagram. Dem Boys 305 inside the title. Dem Boys Apparel. All right, that's who got funky. John Morant has been traded. The Shams bomb is here. John Morant has been traded. We're going to break it down coming up in the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour. That's you, Connor.
Hey,
yeah,
what we got going?
You got your
if your garage door, you know what? See, what happened if your garage door is outdated, damaged, or not hurricane ready? Don't wait. It's hurricane season. Y'all got to call Allied Doors. My wife's been using Allied Doors on her investment properties. We use Allied Doors at our actual home. You got to call Allied Doors. They've been serving South Florida since 1966. That's 60 years of trusted family-owned service. And you're either the person or you know who I'm talking about that has a beautiful home, a well-kept yard, and your garage doors are garbage. Don't be that person. You got to call Allied Doors. Huge in-stock inventory, same-day service, custom impact-rated doors that are built to protect and upgrade your home fast. You got to protect and upgrade your home. Why wouldn't you? Call Allied Doors today. And the LiftMaster openers, I know when I was a kid, I thought every garage door took 35, 40 seconds to open, not LiftMaster. I thought it was loud and all that. No. They are efficient. They're fast. They're built to perform as well. You got to call Allied Doors for the LiftMaster openers. Give them a call today to upgrade and protect your home. 954-942-8550. That's 954-942-8550. Or visit allied-doors.com. Mention this ad, we're going to give you $300 off. We're going to upgrade and protect your home and give you a discount of $300. You got to call Allied Doors today, 954-942-8550. Don't wait. Call Allied Doors today.
This is Hawk, Crowder, and Solana.
They were just sitting in your house naked? It's the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour, brought to you by our friends at Funky Buddha Brewery. Good vibes are always on tap. The NBA has had good vibes, chaotic vibes, just insane stuff today. Before 11 a.m., I mean, we had trades, we had a player indicted, we had a player charged, we just had everything. Now Shams Charania is reporting that Ja Morant is a member of the Portland Trailblazers for nothing, literally for nothing. By the way, Landry Shamet is going to sign a $24 million deal to return to the New York Knicks, according to Shams Charania. I always figured Landry Shamet, I know there's a lot of people suggesting the Heat could be after him in free agency here, but the reality is you win a title, always a little bit of a title tax whenever a guy has that big of an impact on a championship run. So I always figured like that was unlikely. You have Jonathan Kuminga declining his $24 million team option, or the Hawks declined it. That makes him a free agent. And the big story, Ja Morant is a member of the Portland Trailblazers, traded from Memphis to Portland for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. Just insane. Like the idea, Crowder, that his I know all the off the court stuff. Like I know I'm not pushing it aside. I was never very interested in Ja because I felt like the risk outweighed the reward. But I never could have imagined that this is what ultimately the Memphis Grizzlies would have to resort to, just shipping him off for. And Jeremy Grant's a fine player, like Chris Murray, nice young player. But I mean, Ja Morant 4 years ago was getting a Giannis type package, like a Giannis haul, and here he is getting traded for basically peanuts.
It's a divorce. Well, there's some good things, but the bad outweighs the good, like you said. Like Ja Morant's a headache to an organization, and I hope it changes. Ja is extremely talented. Like he can play basketball, but there's 82 nights a year that you want him to play. You got to worry about the other nights that you don't have to play, that you have to deal with.
Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. All right. 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour. That's one of your headlines. Let's get to the rest of our headlines. Hawk is in Europe. He will be back next Monday. A lot to talk about since Hawk has been gone. So Appel is here. He'll take us up until 6 o'clock. Your headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or at DoralVolkswagen.com.
Danhausen, he's uncursed the Miami Dolphins, but Solana, I know you had a Dolphin story as well that you wanted to get to. Is that more of a discussion or was it more newsy?
No, it was more discussion. We're going to have to circle back to it probably tomorrow because we're just not going to have time to do it today.
There's no curses.
Yeah, of course there are.
There are on the court, the field, the pitch performances. There's no curses. Another thing.
Sure there is.
No, there's not, Josh. What about when both teams pray before the game? When both teams pray before the game, does God have a favorite? Get out of here with that. You have to perform on the field, Apple. Well, I don't like Apple. I won't do that again.
I would agree with you if the Dolphins had any kind of success over the last 30 years playing on top of the Tequesta tribe burial ground.
Yep. No, I mean, it's a great point by Pell. Crowder, just off the top of my head, curse of the Billy Goat with the Chicago Cubs, curse of the Bambino with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, we had the curse of the rat lifted here in South Florida as well, but like those were all legitimate curses. Like that's factual. You can't even argue that. That's just factual.
Was it lifted by Bob and Kachuk?
Well,
or was it lifted by Danhausen?
No one has to specify how a curse gets lifted or not. Danhausen just happens to have extraordinary powers in order to lift or unlift curses.
The Knicks got lifted off their curse by Jalen Brunson being a monster and Obi-Wan Kenobi tipping in a ball. It has nothing to do with curses. It has to do with on-court performance.
Well, maybe if Danhausen didn't uncurse the Knicks, OG doesn't get up and make that play and the ball doesn't bounce in a good spot for him to tip it in.
Okay, Appel. So his legs don't work if Danhausen doesn't do his goofy stuff. Y'all are crazy.
No, it's a good point by Pell. The Madden curse, Crowder. I mean, you can't even deny that one.
There's
That's
no
that-
curses.
That's 100% a real curse. The Madden curse. Come on, man.
Jimmy, if you keep shaking your head, I'm gonna punch you in the face next time I see you.
It's true.
Curses.
That's right. It's true.
We'll see. Dolphins uncursed. World Cup knockout stage games, they're underway last night. Canada with a stoppage time winner over South Africa. Brazil, a stoppage time winner at the death to beat Japan 2-1. Germany and Paraguay are scoreless at the moment. They're in the 40th minute, up in a beautiful day in Boston. The Netherlands and Morocco play tonight at 9 p.m. The U.S. will play their round of 32 match against Bosnia on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Andrew Wiggins, he will remain a member of the Miami Heat for the next 3 years. Depending on how you want to categorize it, he opted in and extended and gives the Heat a little more flexibility after this season to build around Giannis and Bam. Kawhi Leonard, also according to Shams, he's got a preference to extend with Toronto and nobody else.
You mean Shams?
Shams.
Yeah. Well, I'm not letting you off the hook after you took issue with me saying Peter Bendix instead of Bendix.
That's not his name.
Yeah.
It's an I, not an E.
Well, it's closer than Shams.
That's not so much.
What are we doing?
Speaking of Peter Bendix.
I'm just you talking about World Cup. I'm still riding with my backcourt violation in soccer. It would make it so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have to move to playing on a court for your rule to.
What's that?
No, I see what Crowder's saying. You're sick of the ball coming backwards. You want more play towards the goal. You want more goals. I understand what you're saying.
Let's
but
go. Let's do some action.
Sometimes you can't just go. Like sometimes you gotta check the ball up top. Sometimes you gotta bring it back out after an offensive rebound. Like you can't just go.
I know,
all the time. You gotta set up your play.
Okay, these are your words. After an offensive rebound, you can't go back court. You have to stay in the front court. Don't let these little bitty dudes kick the ball to the damn goalie.
Little bitty dudes.
It's so boring when they just kick it around the outside and they kick it back and forth, back and forth. Backcourt rule in soccer would make soccer better. I'm sticking with this through the World Cup.
Does Jimmy have a Paraguay song? Because they just scored to make it 1-0 over Germany in the 42nd minute.
Jimmy's checked out since Hawk left. Jimmy just checked out. He's like, I'm done. I'm done with the World Cup. I'm just gonna troll Solana when Spain knocks out Uruguay, but I'm not gonna show up to do my job properly. I'm just checked out. Just don't have anything ready to go for the World Cup anymore.
And J.A., you can't surprise Jimmy. You have to give Jimmy some heads up.
Jimmy reacted to the goal. I mean, I thought it was this thing that he's got a goal song for every country in the World Cup during the show.
Paraguay would have been fun to see what Jimmy had working with Paraguay. What do you got, Jimmy? What do you know about Paraguay?
It's in South America.
All right. Okay. All right. He's got something. He's got something. All right. Well done, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Well, Denver, that's in Colorado, and that's where the Marlins are tonight. They start a 4-game series against the Rockies. Sandy on the mound. Fish are a half game back in the wild card. 8:40 first pitch. Steven Strom gets your coverage started at 8 o'clock, and then Jack McMullen and Kelly Sacco will have the call for you there. On the ice, the Florida Panthers made a trade today. They acquired the negotiating rights of the Butcher, Radko Gudas, in exchange for the rights to A.J. Greer, who was likely to leave in free agency regardless. So the Panthers will have up until the beginning of free agency in a few days to negotiate a deal with Radko Gudas and get him signed to shore up that blue line and bring the Butcher back officially.
Couple other NBA notes, just because I'm reading through Shams. He's tweeted out
so much.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Lou Dort is having his $17.7 million team option picked up by the Oklahoma City Thunder, so he'll be back in OKC next year. Your boy Crowder, Julian Champagnie, he's the guy on the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, he's signing a 3-year, $45 million contract extension with the San Antonio Spurs. He was set to make $3 million with a team option. They declined it, and they gave him his much-deserved money.
15.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
and then
Champagnie was balling now.
Yeah, and then Yusuf Nurkic, he's signing a $22 million contract to go back to the Utah Jazz. So That's the latest in the NBA. There's so much. We didn't even get to like half of it. Bradley Beal declined his $5.6 million player option today. Our old friend Thomas Bryant is going back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's reports regarding LeBron James and his future as well. He's opting for happiness over money, according to Brian Windhorst. And the Golden State Warriors have made it their priority, according to Brian Windhorst and Shams Charania, to go get Anthony Davis, LeBron James, pair him up with Draymond Green and Steph Curry. By the way, Marcus Smart declined his $5.4 million player option. He's a free agent, so maybe leaves LA, maybe comes to Miami, want another ball handler, another three-point shooter. So that's going to be an option for the Miami Heat as well.
Where do you guys value Munner in life's priorities?
All right. Yeah, you called Jack McMullen Jack Mullen earlier today. I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. And then the second I make one mistake, you're all over me. All right, Appel. I see you.
Hey, man, I like Munner.
Same.
I do, Jay. I like me some Munner now.
I lost a lot of Munner in the Bahamas this weekend. I'll tell you that much.
I lost a lot of Munner with this damn Uruguay team.
Don't do that.
Your weather, 92 degrees and sunny. It is hot. It is humid. Winds up into the 13-mile-per-hour range tonight. The weather report brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, replacing roofs, roof repairs, maintenance, and hurricane impact windows and doors. Visit tornadoroofing.com.
All right, so earlier in the show, we brought on Wes Goldberg from Locked On Heat, and we broke down the Andrew Wiggins contract extension. Wiggs is going to opt into his player option. He's going to make $30 million this year, and then he's basically going to make $16.5 next year, $17.5 the following season. So Wes Goldberg came on with us to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo, what the team can look like, the Wiggins deal, and what it means moving forward for the Miami Heat. We're going to replay that conversation for you coming up next on the Hochman, Crowder, and Solana Show.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
And he kicks people in the penis.
Go.